Right, hello ladies and gentlemen, we are joined here by Matt from Onyx. Matt, if you'd like to introduce yourself, tell us what you do.
Hey, I'm Matt from Onyx, and I'm an exterior cleaner.
Perfect. So, as we know, we like to start the episode nowadays with a question from the previous guest.
Ooh,
I think Craig's left you quite a nasty one, if I'm honest.
okay.
It took a little while to think about it. I asked him the night of, and then 3 days later he sent it to me. But his question was, what is one piece of equipment that is a hidden gem that no one really often talks about?
Ooh, that's a
It's a bit of a tough one.
That is like so many little bits and bobs you've got. I'll tell you one thing that has come in really, really handy. It's not a hidden gem as such, but the profiled roof scraper blades. Everyone tries to match to like the profile of the tile.
Yeah.
I think the wire brushes are superior. They don't scratch the coating off as much as those solid flat blade, like the profile blades. And I think you get a really nice finish, even finish, and you can get in at all angles. You don't have to be straight onto the thing. The amount of roofs I've done from like one position and being able to reach over here, there, and everywhere. Just like I really like them. I don't think I'll use the profile blades again.
I think
So
I
like
actually
that.
agree with you. I think I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. But do you find what size do you have? Do you have the there's like a miniature one, isn't there? Which is like I think it's got to be like
Yeah,
20
so the
centimeters.
brush width is small. I've only got the small one, but I do want to get the medium and the large. I tried the small one just to see what it was like, and I was like, yeah, I'm in love with this. I haven't used anything else since having it. Do find that you probably need to get the larger ones to get into the deeper grooves and stuff, but you can spin them, rotate them anyway. So
Yeah.
I think they are underutilized. There are going to be use cases for the profile blades. Maybe if you've got like severe moss build up, you go over once, pull it out, and then you just scrape off the rest. But I think those blades are going to need
I think I
going to be
saw
the best.
from I can't remember where it was. It might be Skyscrape. You can actually get the brush heads, like the wire brushes. Right, hello ladies and gentlemen, we are joined here by Matt from Onyx. Matt, if you'd like to introduce yourself, tell us what you
Hey.
do.
Hey, I'm Matt from Onyx, and I'm an exterior cleaner.
Perfect. So, as we know, we like to start the episode nowadays with a question from the previous guest.
Ooh,
I think Craig's left you quite a nasty one, if I'm honest.
okay.
It took a little while to think about it. I asked him the night of, and then 3 days later he sent it to me. But his question was, what is one piece of equipment that is a hidden gem that no one really often talks about?
Ooh, that's a
It's a bit of a tough one.
That is like so many little bits and bobs you've got. I'll tell you one thing that has come in really, really handy. It's not a hidden gem as such, but the profiled roof scraper blades. Everyone tries to match to like the profile of the tile.
Yeah.
I think the wire brushes are superior. They don't scratch the coating off as much as those solid flat blade, like the profile blades. And I think you get a really nice finish, even finish, and you can get in at all angles. You don't have to be straight onto the thing. The amount of roofs I've done from like one position and being able to reach over here, there, and everywhere. Just like I really like them. I don't think I'll use the profile blades again.
I
So
think I
like
actually
that.
agree with you. I think I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. But do you find what size do you have? Do you have the there's like a miniature one, isn't there? Which is like I think it's got to be like
Yeah,
20
so the
centimeters.
brush width is small. I've only got the small one, but I do want to get the medium and the large. I tried the small one just to see what it was like, and I was like, yeah, I'm in love with this. I haven't used anything else since having it. Do find that you probably need to get the larger ones to get into the deeper grooves and stuff, but you can spin them, rotate them anyway. So I
Yeah.
think they are underutilized. There are going to be use cases for the profile blades. Maybe if you've got like severe moss build up, you go over once, pull it out, and then you just scrape off the rest. But I think those blades are going to need
I think I
going to be
saw
the best.
from I can't remember where it was. It might be Skyscrape. You can actually get the brush heads, like the wire brushes of the profile of the tile. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen those.
I've not
They're
used
like
them.
nylon brushes, I believe.
Yeah, like how they call it, like horsehair, or like kind of thing like that,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah. But I've never actually had given a go. But I think because like you say, I used them on. Oh, what were they? They might have been Marley Ludlows. Do you know, like the like boxy shape ones?
yeah.
I think I
Pretty
used a
standard.
flat wire brush, and I think it worked. I was literally just like scrubbing almost as if it was like a brush,
Yeah,
and I think it worked a miracle compared to like the scraper head that fits
it
that perfectly.
does. And I find like because roof tilings, that the coating comes away either way because moss is all on it. Those profiled blades really, really scratch it to hell, and it just leaves like weird scratch marks all over the place. I think the brush like smooths them out, kind of like blends it into the tile a bit better.
Yeah, and it seemed.
And
Sorry.
oh yeah, I was going to say in any like how you get leftover like white lichens and stuff, they kind of fade in a bit better. So I think your overall finish is better compared to a profile blade.
I think that I agree as well with that, because when you like brush something, it kind of removes like the layer of organic growth. Like if it's like a wet morning and you just remove the moss with a scraping tool, it looks fairly similar to how you when you arrived. You know what I mean? You just remove the moss. Whereas when you
Yeah,
give it a scrub, you see like the lightness of the tile underneath and things like that. So I think that's a good
yeah,
one. I think I do agree with that. Have
yeah.
you got anything to add to Craig's question? Because I know he'll be listening to this thinking, oh,
Um. It's just there's so many little bits and bobs like
he said that he's got this one little tiny tool, which is, I think he uses it for scraping. I think it's like, do you know, did you watch Jake's video yesterday?
yeah,
It's
the
something
little
similar to that.
triangle blades. Yeah,
Yeah, I
they
think
look
it was like an
a
Argos one.
yeah. Um. No, I haven't really come across anything. I mean, the
I
little 12 centimeter gardener brush that you get for your pole, I found that super useful, like getting up between the soffit and the gutter. Like, but it's not exactly a hidden gem.
Yeah, no.
But
I don't really think I've got any hidden gems as such. I think
yeah,
maybe it'll be something camera wise. I think I bought a tripod years ago for my phone, and it now fits my GoPro on it. And I snapped
yeah,
the one that now fits my GoPro on, which isn't really a hidden gem, like I say, it just works, isn't
yeah.
it? But like most things. Anyway, let's move on.
Yep,
Matt, what
cool.
did you do before exterior cleaning, and what made you come into the industry?
So many years ago, I did building trade stuff. So just general labour, general building. Was into like carpentry and stuff like that. I did that from that was like ooh, 2017 is when I got out of that and got into logistics and stuff. So yeah, I was doing building for a while, just picking up bits and bobs, nothing special. Didn't have my own company, subcontracting things like that. Then I had an opportunity to move into another company in their shipping and logistics department, which was quite interesting. Was just supply chain, mainly UK, expanding to global. And that was for a company that was manufacturing their own goods, and I progressed into a manufacturing development position, overseeing everything from sort of design through the manufacturing process all the way through to like the construction side and installation. We did that all over the UK, and started going global. And then COVID hit in 2020, and it all went wrong, as it does. Company had to make some changes, and redundancy was on the table. So I took that, and then I've always been saying I want to run my own business, start my own thing up. I took a few years off, just picking up little bits here and there, just whatever I could. And I was like, you know what? I really want to get into something like a service business is good. Service businesses you can take anywhere. So if I ever wanted to move I'm based in Bristol. If I ever wanted to move anywhere, so I can take the business with me, and it's not like a work from home, but it's like remote working in a sense. You can just go anywhere, and you
Yeah.
get the idea. So I thought about it, and then I stumbled upon Smouts videos and Partridge, and they just came up randomly, just like in the algorithm. I wasn't even watching any pressure washing. I just got hooked on the idea of it, and I've dabbled with things like that within the building trade, like post cleans and things, but never any chemicals or anything serious. I was just watching the videos for a long time, and like, it just clicked. It was like I've already started thinking about a service business or something. This happened, and then boom, it all just kind of fell into place.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it sounds like a good story, because it kind of similar to some people as well with the COVID thing.
Mm.
When COVID kind of hit, people seem to try and start something new, something fresh.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
a lot of people are inspired by people like Sid and Jake,
Yeah.
who like Sid's vlog videos. I think they are inspiring because you get to see all the behind the scenes in a way as well. But yeah, so with your building experience, do you do anything now like post building cleans as such?
No, I haven't
No.
done any of those. I'd take them on if they came in, but I'm not fishing for them. I'm not trying to like promote that side of things.
Mm.
If I were to use any of the knowledge, it'd be like relaying slabs, drawing a repoint, or just like the basics like that. I'm really not interested in going back into any kind of like building trade or anything like that. And
Yeah.
I know what it's like being on a building site and how messy it can get and how much of a pain in the ass it can be. So it's like I try and avoid those unless they're really worth it. And I don't know if you've done builders cleans and things like that. I haven't, like I say, I haven't done one, but trying to negotiate with a site boss and get your price right. It's just like yeah, it can be a bit of a pain.
I
I can
had
imagine. So
I had to quote for one once. I say one. I had to quote for several houses. However, when I got there and spoke to the guy in charge, he kind of said that he wants it cleaned, but it doesn't need to be like up to standard. Do you know what I mean? Like for our
yeah,
standards, it doesn't need to be up to that. You just need like a rinse almost. And I was just like,
exactly.
how do you
Yeah,
even price
that's
that?
like I've seen people put things in Discord like, yeah, this is post builders clean. It's like, yeah, they're happy with that, and it's like, great, that's great, but I want my standard to be like, as new as possible. And when you're working for a builder who says that, it's kind of like they don't appreciate your services or what your ability to do is. And it's like if you're just building something for new to sell or a refurbishment or something, why not make it the best it can be? Why just a quick rinse? I don't like
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So that's another reason why I wouldn't really push it, because they've obviously got to keep their costs down, and the quicker they can get you on and off site, the better for their margins and things. So
yeah. I have
it's
thought about doing like the brickwork side of it, not so much the driveways and the patios, that kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
But like, do you know that when new builds go up now, they often get quite dusty and whatever else from all the building
yeah,
work around it. That's what I've kind of tried to ask, but trying to get contacts for that is a nightmare. Like, it's not like you could just find
yeah,
their email and send it over to them, because they like there's a building development place behind me, and I emailed the company. I can't remember what it's called, but the company that started the development site.
yeah.
But I just never got a reply, so I didn't really dive too much into it.
You probably have to like almost spam them to
Mm.
get any kind of like notice out of them. Like a lot of the time, it'll just be their office management or something just seeing it. Oh yeah, just another like spam email. Effectively,
Mm.
it's like if you keep in their eye, keep spamming them like weekly emails or monthly emails or something. When they do get that opportunity, it's like they'll remember you. It's kind of like that whole plant the seed now and watch the plant grow later kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I think that's like a lot of marketing. You need to do that. I mean, we talk about it a lot in the Discord, and McDonald's has mentioned a lot. They keep advertising on TV. Do they need to advertise? Well, not really, but at the same time, they're still planting seeds. Like, I don't
Yeah,
crave McDonald's seeing it, and then 3 weeks later, it's like, oh yeah, I'll go and get McDonald's, and then you remember the advert in your head, like, oh yeah, I'll go and get that nice juicy burger or whatever, and you're disappointed
yeah,
when you open the packet.
that's the thing. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you're always disappointed, aren't you, with McDonald's when you see that?
But it's
Um,
yeah, it's that's how marketing works, isn't it? You just got to keep in front of the public eye and keep pushing yourself.
I emailed a few schools, not yesterday, the day before,
Mm.
um, and I got a couple of emails back, but they weren't like, "Come and have a look." Do you know what I mean? They weren't like, "Oh yeah, we'd love a quote." It was like, "We'll keep your details. We might
Yeah.
need you. We might not." Do you know what I mean? So, in a case like that, would you say that you need to kind of email them, every couple
I
of
that
months?
If they are legit taking your details down and putting it in a database somewhere they've got them, it's not going to hurt to keep sending them emails and keep them on the reminder, because when they do want to do that, the person in the office might put it on a spreadsheet. The head teacher or whoever needs to bring someone in, they might not know about that sheet kind of thing. So it's like if you keep in their inbox, you've got the chance of whoever has access to that inbox seeing things. I don't think there's the worst they're going to do is block your email address.
Yeah.
There's nothing else they can do that's worse than that. So by emailing them, you're either putting it through to someone, it's going into their spam box, or it's just getting blacklisted out.
Mm.
What's the harm? You don't want to be too spammy, like, not every day, that's silly. Maybe every week is a bit too much, but, once a month, especially like with schools, I'd say like approaching half terms, Easter holidays, the 6 week holiday where the kids aren't in the actual school. They're going to be where they're going to be looking to spend their maintenance budget, getting things up together. So they're kind of the times to go, right, we'll send out a weekly email in July, or the whole of July, see if we can get working for August or something.
That was my next question, actually. When would you kind of target that period? Because the 6 week, they're normally going to book it in advance, aren't they? It's going to be like
Yeah,
quite a thing where they want to, get 2-3 months forward rather than wait until like the week
yeah,
before.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But
So
then I don't, yeah, it depends on how they structure. I mean, you could email on a Wednesday the week before they want it done, and they'll say, yes, come in, quote us, and we'll sort it out. You could email them 6 months before, and they'll book you in for just the next summer. I don't think you could sit there trying to guess when they're going to book you in. I think a monthly email and then approaching those like holiday times, get a bit more 2 weekly, weekly,
push it,
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Just just keep yourself in the loop, and if they've told you they've got you on a database, don't stop. Keep keep on with it, because that could be their way of saying we put you on a database. Stop emailing us. Like I say, the worst they're going to do is block you.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? It's like it's not the worst thing in the world. However, I'll get back onto the marketing chat.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to get through the next question, if that's all right. Which
Go
is,
for it.
what was your first service you offered in exterior cleaning? Now I know there's many to choose from. Obviously, I went down window cleaning. Most people either go pressure washing or window cleaning. It's normally
Yeah,
the start, isn't it? So what happened for you? How did you begin?
pressure washing.
Oh, really?
Um, I I did similar to what a lot of people do. Think pressure washing business. Let's get a pressure washer and set up, and the phone would be off the hook. Um, Reality is we know that doesn't happen. But yes, pressure washing was the main thing. I was always intending to get like gutter back in and expand into that. So those two things I think are important for the business. I don't do or offer window cleaning. If it was part of a bigger clean and like a one-off, or someone said, "Can you do my windows while you're doing my driveway or something?" I'll be like, "Yeah, no problem." Just go up to the pure water station, get a couple of liters, and that'll do. But
Yeah.
I don't offer window cleaning. It's not a service I want to do. I want to focus on the bigger ticket items and the things. My philosophy is I don't want to be a 9 till 5 Monday to Friday guy. I want the big jobs and then a couple of days off, then the big jobs, and kind of like book like that. So I'm quite happy to wait if they're there. And if you've got the patience and ability to do that, then yeah, don't get dragged into a business you don't want to grow. If you're not interested in like window cleaning, for example, don't do it. If you want to add lawn mowing to your services because you're already in customers' houses, go for it. Like, you do what you got to do that you want to do. But I think it's quite easy for a lot of people to fall into a service they don't want to do, just to try and make ends meet, and that's where you kind of get demotivated and don't push what you want to do. So
That's
if that
the
makes
thing, isn't
any
it?
sense.
When it gets quiet and things, people tend to look for another service they can add.
Yeah,
It tends to be window cleaning that does that, because you kind of feel like, oh, I'll get this every month. It's there. It's stable. It's right in front of
yeah,
me. But yeah, like I say, I started a window cleaning business and hated it from minute one. However, I
yeah,
built it to a point where I didn't need it too much, so I actually sold the round. But looking back, I think that kind of helped me through the quiet days a bit.
well, yeah,
So it's not. I agree with you, is in the fact of that you don't want to grow a business that you don't want. I also agree with the people that feel like they kind of need to do something in order to.
yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to add a new service, or go out door knocking kind of thing. But personally, I don't like window cleaning.
Yeah, yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, if you've got to do it, or it's like, like you say, you do it for a little while, build up around, and then sell it, and then because you can do what you want to do, then great. If that's what you got to do, do it. But I think a lot of people get stuck into the idea of like, we'll just use the window cleaning as an example. They'll be like, I'll build a round, tie myself over, get some customers, and then sell the round. Then they never get round to selling the round. They decide, I hate this work, and it demotivates them from growing like their pressure washing side or their gutter cleaning side or whatever other service they want to offer, because they're stuck with a round that's bringing in consistent money. And there is nothing wrong with that, but if you're not enjoying it, then there are going to be other avenues out. And selling your round is one thing.
Yeah.
Use that to fund up everything else. Use your window cleaning round to promote your pressure washing and gutter cleaning.
That was the thing. I thought it was quite hard to find someone willing to buy the round. It's quite
Yeah.
lucky where I am, to be honest, because it's quite a quiet area in terms of that there's not very often a round for sale. But I was a bit more picky with who I wanted to sell it to because I wanted the customers to be happy because I kind of built like a little, like I still message a few of them now just as friends,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and stay in touch with my old round. But I didn't want it to go to someone who was just going to do it for a little while and sell it or do it. And do you know like them people that just rock up and don't message a day before or a couple of days before? Didn't want that to happen because I'd always message 24 hours before. So
You've got to sell it to someone who's going to replicate or be as close to your quality of service because it's still your reputation. If you're just like, if your customer is quite happy to have you doing their gutters twice a year, and you've sold the window cleaning round to someone who's useless, they're going to think, did you really put that much attention into us? And they could easily cancel you. There's many things a customer can look at once you've sold your round. Great to get the money in because you're selling your round, but if they're not matching your quality of service, when you want to start that window cleaning round again and buy it back, is that customer interested in having you back? It's not just your company that you have to worry about the reputation of sometimes.
I went through a bit of a period of trying to start a new round as well, which was probably November time. I don't know if you listened to last week's episode. I mentioned it to Craig where I tried to buy a canvassing team to go out and do it for me. The idea behind it wasn't actually for me to go and do the windows myself. It was to get someone else on the road to help with these roofs and everything else that comes combined. Still haven't received the round. I'm going to get it eventually, hopefully. But it was something that I ultimately now changed my mind on. And I think once I do receive all these details of these people, this round, I don't really know what I'd do. I had a bit of a think about it, and Craig kind of went on to have a chat about this on the podcast, but I don't think anything makes sense apart from to try and move it on to someone. The only thing that I kind of worked out was to befriend someone local, a window cleaner, and let him kind of do it. And I'll take even if it's 5%, I'll take 5% just to get the work done and not give me a bad name because I'm ultimately going to be introduced as the window cleaner.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? But
it wouldn't hurt to be, try and befriend another local entity like that. Sell them around if they're interested. You can always take on any excess work, I guess, if you had to. I guess that's the thing with I'm not going to name the company because I think I know who you've gone with, but those canvassing companies they'll build a big round. I don't know how they filter out the customers and if they can guarantee them or anything, and then you pay a sum of money for it, and then you say you receive it 6 weeks, 8 weeks later. It's like, and you've changed your mind. What do you do? Because you can't really go back to them and say, I want a refund. So I think in your position, try and find someone local, maybe even someone who wants to start up a window cleaning round and kind of let them do the work and take 50% or whatever.
This is the thing as well. I've got all the kit, so I could just it would work well if I could do that. But
I mean, rent out the round. You've got all the kit. Someone wants to start up. I'll rent you the kit, give you the customers. We'll take 50%, and then they can build towards getting their own kit, and then you can eventually sell the other 50% to them. So
the only thing that worries me is
many ways.
Doing that, they eventually do what I've done in a way, is that you branch out to the gutters and the pressure washing jobs, the roofing, all that kind of thing, and almost like become a bit competitive. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, that might not ever happen. It's just something that
you run that risk whether you know the person or not. At least this way, you get an idea of the person, the quality of work, and you've already built a relationship. If they get big jobs big roof jobs, that you'll be the first one to call. So you could effectively reap benefit from doing that versus someone you don't know who's doesn't know you do it. There's many pros and cons. You'll never stop competition. Competition's going to exist anywhere, no matter what business you run and what avenue you go down. I think it's good to have competition because that gives customers options, and if you can be ahead of the game and be the best one in your area and the one people want to go to, you're going to grow a lot quicker. So competition isn't necessarily a bad thing, because if you can outweigh your reputation on them, that's going to be ultimately good for your business. So sometimes competition is a good thing.
That's the thing as well. It kind of pushes you on a bit, doesn't it? It makes you think a bit. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. It's trying to find someone, and also I feel like if I did find someone who wanted to start, I'd try and take them under my wing. I'd be like that, like, oh, I'll put you on the road. I'll give you the kit. Go and work for me for a little bit, get a bit of experience, then go on your own. But yeah, I don't know. I'll speak. I've already spoken to a few of my friends about kind of this kind of thing. However, in the local town I'm in, it's not ideal. There's already about 6 or 7 window cleaners only, like window cleaners. It's quite hard to get work around here. However, if it was someone like in Colchester, which is like a 20-minute drive from me, big town. Obviously, there's a few companies that are big. However, you can compete when you're small and charge less ultimately if you're going to do that kind of route. But yeah, it's an interesting one, and I will get to the bottom of it. I'm sure at some point.
Is there a possibility your company could start franchising like some other companies out there?
I don't think that's for me really, franchising. I'd like to think about it, but I feel like I worry too much about other people, what they're going to do.
Yeah. They'd be under your banner, I guess. You'd have to regulate them, but if you've already kind of built that reputation, they're doing their own round, and you say you're worried about if they do offer gutters, well, they can do it under your banner. Take a percentage. There's we know some companies out there that already do that.
One thing that I kind of do differently around my area, I don't know about you, is the video side. I think because no matter what, I have a video that you stick on YouTube, or whatever, but you always have the clips spare, which I post on Facebook, Instagram, sharing all the local groups and things, which people can visibly see. And as a marketing point, there's no one else that does that in the area. But I don't see it like doing leaps and leaps and leaps above people. It's just kind of, it seems like it's keeping me in level with them. Do you know what I mean? It's not like I'm doing so much more than them from that, but it's the only thing I can really highlight that is different.
Yeah, but that is still an edge on some other competitors that aren't doing that. I mean, I don't. Half the time I forget to take photos of my work. Like, I've never been a pull my camera out kind of guy, so I'm learning to remember to get your phone out and take a little snapshot of your before and afters. But yeah, if you're utilizing videos, especially on social media, like everybody is on social media, people are going to see that, and I think a video is more expressive than a photo. And you're going to be, if someone can actually see your work and you working and how you do things and your end product and how everything looks, in kind of real time in a sense, because it's a video, that's going to be way better than just a before and after picture. I think you see that. That's why you get like a lot of the YouTubers, for example, are really busy, because people can see their work. They can see how they go about their day, and they'll get inquiries left, right, and centre. So
I've still only received one job ever from YouTube.
Yeah, but you keep posting, keep at it. You're gonna, you'll still grow. You get the subscriber base, and then you'll get. Outside of like the exterior cleaners, you'll start getting an organic audience of a single mums waiting to do the school run at 3 p.m. just browsing, and oh look, your short popped up because you're in the algorithm, and that's how things grow.
Have you ever thought about doing content?
I have. I would like to try and do something content-y. The thing is, I'm not really. I'm not one to stand in front of a camera, do selfies and talk. So I think my content, if I did it, would be like voiceovers.
Yeah.
Or like time-lapsey style stuff, or just like satisfying little shorts here and there. But I wouldn't try and be like really big on social media. I think it'd just be like, this is my advertising avenue.
I think it depends on how you want to structure your videos. Because I try and do a mixture of like talking to the cameras, letting them know what I'm doing, as if they're like don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've like there's someone else that does, basically they just do the turn up to the job. They don't talk to the camera at all, and it's just them working from minute one, getting out of the van and loading the equipment, right to the end, and it's the before and after pretty much. You know what I mean? And that does do well as well. So I think you could. If you don't want to stand in front of the camera and talk, I think that does work quite well. Obviously, you capture a different audience as well, because I feel like I'm kind of stuck at the moment capturing people trying to be in the industry or in the industry, as well as people that like watching stuff. So I need to kind of figure out which way to go. But that's a... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the thing. Like, there is an audience for everybody. Everybody will find their audience if they keep doing what they do best. And
Mm.
if you keep down this path, you will find an audience for just that. Just like Smout has found his audience in the way he does things, and Partridge has found his audience in the way he does things. And they can be very similar but very different. And they might share some audience. They might have audiences that won't watch one over the other. And I
Mm.
think that, everybody will find their audience if they just put out the content they want to do and they enjoy it. I think if you try and put yourself in a box that this is my content, this is what I do, that's where you kind of start trying to. It's like with musicians, if they're just trying to make music to sell, it doesn't do so well because they're too focused on how am I going to get the audience, how am I going to get money in. Whereas the artists that do what they want to do and the things they enjoy, you can kind of see that and vibe with it, and they'll
Yeah.
naturally gain a big following from it. So I think, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and the audience will come.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think you need to go in a specific direction. You just need to do what you want to do. I think
Yeah.
that applies to anybody in any business. Just like enjoy it and do the things that satisfy you and give you the enjoyment, and you'll naturally grow because of that. Because you're not putting pressure on yourself and stress and doing things you dislike. So
Yeah. I think it's almost a bit of a hobby, which I've started to learn a bit more. And like, I've just bought DaVinci Resolve Pro.
oh yeah,
The reason why is mostly because of these podcasts, to be honest, is because you can cut out all like the S sounds, you know what I mean, from the mics.
hmm
So you can do that in one click kind of thing. But in terms of to try and upgrade like the content as well, do you know do you know the Sidemen? Do you watch the Sidemen at all?
I'm familiar with you there. Yeah,
Yeah, so they do like these effects. If someone like I don't know went to shoot a gun or something like that, they'd have like bullets come out of their fingers. Do you know what I mean? All these like
yeah.
really like effects. I want to try and learn all of that stuff just to make it a bit more interesting in a way. But I don't know if that'd be overkill because I am just trying to record my work. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a exterior cleaning guy. Do you know
Yeah,
what
I
I mean?
think I think it won't go down so well if you're just pointing your nozzle at a thing and then video editing the clean.
It'd be quite cool to see that.
Yeah,
But no, not like that. But you know,
yeah, yeah.
I think
I know what you
I'm
mean.
looking too much into it.
You want to stand out a bit. Like, yeah, just do it because you enjoy it. Most of the most successful people online are the people who are doing the things they enjoy because they're doing it as a hobby. They're not trying to force it.
Mm.
And you usually see the people that do grow by forcing it eventually collapse, and it all goes wrong because they built something they don't really believe in.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones that have kind of they've kept it and really enjoyed it and cherished it and like babied it effectively, they're the ones who succeed. So, and you see that in every business, don't you?
I do think it's a platform thing as well now. I think you need to choose what platform you kind of want to focus on the most. Because for me, if you're YouTube long form videos, I enjoy more than making TikToks, reels, that kind of thing. However,
Yeah.
there is also a place for those. Like the Paul guy, for example. Paul guy started, didn't he, on TikTok or Instagram, something like that, the reels,
Something like that, yeah.
moved to long form. Whereas some people, like Jake, for example, I think Jake started long form. Now he dabbles in and out of short form, long form, doesn't he? I prefer making long form videos. I feel like because you actually can engage with people that are watching rather than just
Yeah.
like trying to cram everything in. And the first 5 seconds of a TikTok kind of gets swiped, whereas like the first 5 minutes of a YouTube video always tend to get watched. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
But
with the short form, it's kind of like an advertising for your long form as well, because you
mm,
can put snapshots of your long form in and reel people in with a few good captions and maybe good hooks, and it's like watch the full video here, and that's how like a lot of people get into the long form. You use your short form for advertising, as far as I understand, but
yeah,
you can obviously thrive on just short form or just long form. But I think mixing the two and cleverly linking it all is where we're at, because you've got the people who swipe on their phones like Instagram Reels or TikToks or YouTube Shorts while they're on a train, bus, or over a morning coffee or something like that. They can get it, and if they enjoy something, they can click on your long form and hit subscribe on the YouTube, and then next time you put out a long form video, they might
yeah,
get into watching it. So I think, yeah, you can reach a bigger audience with short form, but that audience is kind of like the lower attention span in a sense, because you've only got, what, 60 seconds or so on short form?
yeah.
And you need to capture people within that first. I think, do they say like you got to get people's attention in the first 5 to 8 seconds of a short video for them to keep watching?
I genuinely think it's less than that as well. Sometimes, if
Yeah,
I
it can
watch
be.
watch my friends or my girlfriend, for example, she loves a bit of TikTok. I tend to find that within 2 seconds, it's swipe.
Yeah.
It's swipe. Like,
So you got to get them.
yeah. And I feel like it's quite hard as well in the industry. I feel like you've got to either, if you go, right, today I'm pressure washing this driveway, I feel like it's quite hard to get everybody, not everyone, but you know what I mean, a high percentage of people have actually stand on that video for 5 seconds. Like, what can you actually do to stand out? Because I've tried it. I've tried to, like, do a whole job in short form almost, but it doesn't seem to really work for me. But then again, I haven't really experienced enough in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough TikTok chat. What marketing avenues are you currently exploring? What have you done, and what are you looking to do? And yeah.
Currently and historically, flyers, Facebook posts, and next door adverts and word of mouth. That's all I currently do. And I'm looking to sort of like, start the Google ads and really push out into. I'm in the Bristol area, so we got something called the Bristol Echo. I think every city has something Echo, but yeah, you got the Bath Echo and the Bristol Echo, and they've got. I'm thinking they've got a crossword in them, and that's where a lot of people are going to go and spend their time. So I'm thinking if I put a quarter-page ad on the opposite side of the crossword, where people are going to spend the most time, I think that's going to be what I want to try and push. Because if you can if they go to every single house in a huge radius, unlike a flyer where they can pick it up and put it in the bin, they might want to flick through this, see what the local news is, and they've got more chance of seeing your company. And if you're going out once a month or once every 2 weeks, they'll keep seeing you, kind of like how you can put a flyer through a letterbox like 100 times in a year if you really wanted to. I think, if you target the right pages of those where people are going to stop and stall and it's going to be in the corner of their eye or something, I think that's going to be a really big benefit.
Is this like how can I? Is this like similar to like a magazine almost?
Yeah, it's like your local town paper or something like that.
So will this get distributed to everybody, or do they have to opt? Oh, okay, that's good.
They distribute it to a huge area. I think one of them goes to 41 postcodes in the area.
Wow.
Every house.
Yeah.
So, I think it's only like 400 quid for 6 months every issue, or you get like a yearly thing. And it's like, it can sound like an expense, but like I say, if you target the right size ad in the right place in it, I think it can be very beneficial because it's going to a lot of people.
Like you say, the crossword side as well. If you deliver that to, let's say 1 in 5 houses do the crossword even, then that could be a higher number than that.
Yeah.
You're still in the eyes of a lot of people.
Exactly. And I think we've got the interesting thing of like the younger generation is very online and they won't look at those things. The older generation are like very much into the magazines, the papers, the books and things. But then you've got the in the middle where they're kind of both. And I think if you can keep an online presence and a like hard copy presence, and really expand that way, I think you can get a very big marketing reach really quick. Because someone who might see you online might see you in the book and vice versa, and you kind of people get used to seeing a brand. I think the more you see a brand, the more comfortable you get using it. I think a really good example of that is that company Temu.
Yeah.
When I first heard of them, I was like, "What's this? Is this a scam site?" And now everybody's using Temu for things because it's become they just put their name everywhere, and people have learned to trust that brand. And I think that's a big psychological thing, which is why I keep saying to people, get your logo right, get your branding right, because if you can keep your branding in people's eye and get them to trust you and see it a lot, the more people see you, the more people are going to want to use you. And just like, the McDonald's logo, you see the McDonald's logo and you're like, yeah, I trust that. I'll go to McDonald's over the small little independent guy that no one really knows about in that town in the back alley kind of thing. So, if that makes sense.
Okay, I noticed your uniform. How many of those do you have?
The logo itself is that. I don't know how to make this the other way around. Anti-mirrored.
It looks all good on here.
Yeah, so the Onyx logo is there, and then I've got Specialist Exterior Clean underneath. And I'm experimenting with different types of subwording. So like exterior cleaning specialist, um, patio uh, renovation and things like that. I'm doing a lot of because I want to try and target various services and push those. I just want to get away from like general pressure washing because that's too there's not enough information in general pressure washing to say like I reseal imprinted driveways or
Mm.
reseal tarmac or repoint patios. So it's like I want a different wording for each type, and I think I want a different advert to go out to different places with the Onyx logos. People get used to the Onyx logo, but they can see that there's a wide range of services offered. Like
Yeah.
render cleaning, for example, that'll be one that I want to start pushing.
So would you almost have like a different T-shirt for or jumper or whatever for whatever you're doing almost? So say if you had,
I think down
yeah,
the line that'll be something. It's quite an expense to have like 30 different T-shirts with 30 different things.
yeah,
Um, but it's like, yeah, a lot of my online ads are the Onyx logo, and then I have something dedicated to like gutter cleaning, dedicated to solar panel cleaning, dedicated to render cleaning, patio restoration, things like that. Like a different service for each thing. So it's trying to just move away from, yeah, I do pressure washing. It's like, what does that really mean? People kind
mm,
of see pressure washing as turn up, spray a bit of water, leave. So if you can kind of like, yeah, get your, it's almost like itemized servicing, isn't it? Like kind of like a
yeah.
menu, like a food menu. You just got a different service for each thing, and that's
I
what I'm trying to focus on. Is in a lot of marketing, you see if you get a menu through your letterbox or something or online, you're kind of more inclined to read through it. And if you can kind of offer like a multitude of services that you're willing to do, start putting them out and having a different like flyer or leaflet or online ad for that, again, it gets into people's trust.
so
Like this is what we do.
do you separate this with your leaflets as well? Do you have like a leaflet dedicated to each service almost, or is that?
Yep. So I've currently got a flyer for pressure washing. I've got one for gutter cleaning, gutter clearing, and I'm working currently on a multitude service one, so it's like a bit of everything. But then I'm going to have a render cleaning leaflet dedicated to that. One for like conservatory cleaning, one for solar panels, just one for every single service, and they'll just go out because if you can again, we talk about like trying to target the customer. They might not really think I need my solar panels done, but they might have some render that wants doing.
Mm,
They might get a solar panel leaflet, and then they might get a render cleaning leaflet. They take you on for render cleaning, and then they remember I've got solar panels. You do solar panels. Whereas if you have like an all-in-one leaflet, I think that small text can get very lost, and people kind of forget what services you offer, and you really have to kind of upsell. So if you can kind of keep in the eye what services you offer and separate them and make them like the focal point, I think that's quite important to success, especially with like free Facebook posting.
mm,
Put out a Facebook advert every couple of days targeting a completely different service, get a phone call for it, and
yeah,
then you can upsell from there. I think you've really got to, this day and age, really be as broad as you can with all your services and really push each one as their own. But you can come together under your own company banner and sell anything to anyone, really.
yeah. Do you deliver your own leaflets, or do you have someone that kind of does that for you?
I did, and then I was like, this is time I'm spending walking around putting leaflets in. So I've recently got hold of a family friend who just chucked some money. I know they're going to go in the letterbox. Already, I've actually generated 3 leads, 3 quotes from a batch of 300,
Mm.
which is a really good return rate.
Yeah, yeah, that is.
When we talk about like 1% out of 1,000 or something like that, 3 and 300 is it's quite big. So
Yeah, that's quite good. That is really good actually.
yeah, so yeah, getting someone else to because while they were out delivering, I was also back in the office generating like emails and sending them out. So it's kind of like you're doing two things at the same time, and it does
Yeah,
cost a little bit of money to pay someone, but I think yeah, spending money to make money is valuable.
yeah, definitely.
So I won't I won't spend my time putting flyers through the door because that's a waste of time for me. It's a gamble whether you're going to get custom. And I'd rather gamble hard cash or something than my 3 or 4 hours, which I could be doing to generate other leads at the same time.
Yeah.
So kind of like spread your bets kind of thing.
So how many leaflets is this company going to stick out for you, roughly?
I am probably going to get about 10,000 printed next round.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
That's what I'm looking at. So quite a lot. But they're going to be like 2001 type, 2000 another. Like I say, different services. So what I'll probably do is have them target the same couple of hundred houses with each service once a month or something.
See, I'm a bit nervous now. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you carry on.
I delivered my leaflets to Royal Mail on Thursday.
Yeah.
However, there is quite a lot of things to check before you do anything with Royal Mail. So you can pass them over to your local post office.
Yeah.
For a fee per box, which I think was something like 15 quid a box. Right. I had 9. I'd also missed a date for that because as soon as you get the confirmation email that you've booked your, kind of time slot, you need to have sent an email back, and then they send you some documents which you need to print off, and you need to have them then taken to the post office within something like 4 days. Yeah. So in usual fashion, I'd left it until the week of the final date. And then, the date that it was meant to be in by the local place was on the Friday, and I checked on the Sunday night, so that was convenient. Anyway, took them to Rochester, which is like an hour and 40 minutes away from me because I was forced to. Got there, and the boxes absolutely cannot weigh any more than 10 kilograms because otherwise they will leave them in the depot, won't tell you, and they won't go out. And you also can't collect them, so they pretty much just go to waste.
Right.
Secondly, the person on the site that kind of takes the leaflets on the pallet or whatever doesn't check them, doesn't give you a receipt, doesn't do anything, just literally just drives off with a pallet of boxes.
Right, okay.
So that was another nervous thing. They go out on Monday, and also I spoke to a postman the other day, and they often say that they put out about 7 leaflets in once. Now, before Christmas, I spoke to another postman and said they put out about 2.
Yeah.
I've only got one-sided leaflets. If that leaflet goes on the wrong side and at the bottom of the pile, the chances of someone actually even seeing it is 20%, less than 10%.
Yep.
Less than that. So
you have that no matter how you post a leaflet.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I feel like if you go with a local company and you can talk to them in a way as like saying, I want this to go out by itself, it's going to be double-sided, so no matter whatever way the leaflet lands, even if you have the same print on different sides, no matter what, it's going to be in their face. I feel like the success rate might be considerably higher than what I was expecting from Royal Mail.
It's a hard one because I don't obviously work in that industry. Royal Mail, you're kind of guaranteed to put them through the letterboxes. They might go in with 7 other leaflets. They might go in with 2 other leaflets. They might land upside down. You would hope that the person collecting their mail off the floor would at least look through what's there and not throw away important documents. But people are people. At the end of the day, people are going to do what they want. There's the same amount of chance that your leaflet will end up in the bin, no matter who you went for. Because if someone's putting it in the bin, they're putting it in the bin. It doesn't matter who delivered it; they're not going to care. It's on the floor in their doorway, whether that's at 3 p.m, whether that was when Royal Mail came, whether they'd forgotten about it for 3 weeks, it's still hanging out of the letterbox.
Yeah,
it's all the same in my opinion. I think the main we had a long conversation about the delivery side. I think the main thing is finding a reputable company that you can guarantee that they've gone through a letterbox. There's never a guarantee, anyone at Royal Mail can go, I don't need to go and post this because there's no post to go in that house. Bin it. People work in their own ways. Everyone works for someone else and they have their own methods. There's no guarantees of anybody, but I think if you found a reputable company to do it, the big one, Royal Mail, are going to do it. And then someone who's going to GPS track or RFID or however they do it, track their services, you've got a guarantee. If you're giving it to someone who says, yeah, we'll deliver those, mate, and you've got no way of tracking that or knowing they've got a letterbox, it's no different to that guy taking your box on the pallet and not giving you a receipt kind of thing. You don't know where they're going.
I think my biggest fear is actually them being... I weighed them, but I made them 9.6.
Yeah.
However, you know what some scales are like. Some scales are completely out. You
Yeah.
know, my scales could be out. Their scales could be out. They could go over 10 kilogram, and they might not ever go
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And then from there, I don't really know what I'd do, to be honest. The only good thing about all of this is that I made a bit of an error. I spoke to you about this when I ordered them.
Yeah.
I printed them in A6, and then I spoke to you, and you said no, print them in A5. So
Yeah.
I cancelled the order, put through another order of the A5, and then the boxes came. I checked like 2 boxes. I was like, yep, no, they're sweet, cool. Put them all in
Yeah.
my container. Brought them out last Tuesday or whatever. Went through all the boxes, and in 4 out of the 9 boxes I've got are all A6, and there's 20,000 of those as well, and as
Yeah.
well as the 20,000 of the A5. So I managed to get double whammy out of one order.
I mean, can't complain at that, can you?
No, but this is. I think I'm going to separate them into 10,000, 10,000. I only delivered 16,507 to Royal Mail, so I've kept the rest of those in the van for when I go out and post leaflets through doors up and down the street from where I've already worked, kind of thing. I think the plan with these A6 ones is to stick them to any local distribution company, see how they do, put them in an area where I know that if any work comes from there, it's got to be the leaflets, and see how it goes, because both companies are cheaper than Royal Mail Just that I've spoke to. They don't have GPS, but even so, I'll know if they've gone out or not, because like I say, I'll put them in, somewhere I don't advertise, like towards London way kind of thing.
Yeah.
But because the leaflets are tailored to kind of roofs and render mostly, I don't mind going that far for those. Do you know what I mean? So
it
kind of works smoothly.
Job's worth it. Like we spoke about, you can always get a stamp and stamp the back of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I looked at that as well. I haven't quite decided on who they're going to go with yet or anything like that. But once I do, I think I will put a stamp on the back, like you say.
And then people can reference that stamp code, and then you'll know that's your own way of tracking. I think the only way to 100% guarantee that flyers go through a letterbox is if you physically put them in yourself. Because leaving it to other people, you just don't know what they do, what their methods are. You don't know if that person working is having a bad day or they hate their company, and you just don't know. So you can only guarantee it 100% if you put it through the letterbox. And I think any other method is just leave it to chance and hope.
Yeah. The only thing with that, isn't it, is if you put out 20,000 leaflets, if it took 1,000 a day, it'd take me like a whole working month to put out.
Yeah, exactly. But so they can spread them between multiple postmen, and I think we looked it up, didn't we? Royal Mail try and aim for about 400 houses per postman per day, give or take. You do have. We spoke about these like cheaper services. What was it, like £35 for 1,000 or something? It's like, can you tell them do not post to flats, because that's kind of pointless in our industry.
Yeah.
If people are posting to like the top 4 flat, they could probably do 30 or 40 flat buildings in doors in a building, and that's like 40 of your leaflets just going straight in the bin. So it's the same kind of thing. You need to be able to say target these properties.
That was the thing with Royal Mail as well. I could try to target those areas, but I had to individually choose the postcode of those areas. So even if there was like flats or terraced houses in that postcode, it still was going to go to them. But it's not too bad if you can kind of like slighten.
Yeah, you can basically say this area of this town is like 80% flats. Ignore it, and don't worry about the 20% that are houses, kind of thing.
Yeah,
you can kind of Google Maps is a great tool for that. It takes a bit of time and stuff, but it's worth it in the end, because you're trying to target the best possible opportunities for those things. There's no point of sending it to like an office complex where there's like 30 different companies in one office, because they're not going to care. Straight in the bin kind of thing. So like center of town or something is never a good idea.
So let's say hypothetically you had 3 employees all of a sudden. You were off the tools. You had time to do other things. Would you go out and leaflet yourself?
I'd probably say if I had 3 employees, and let's just say they were all working on an individual job, one of their goals for that day was to deliver an X amount of leaflets at the end of their shift or end of their working day. Yeah. Do what is it H2O, the 2020 aside?
Oh yeah.
Up and down, just like as part of your pack up. You have no guarantees that staff member is going to walk up and down that street with those flyers and not just bin them. But like anything, you don't know. But I think, yeah, if you had 3 people, that's 40 leaflets a person, or more or less, or whatever you decide. That's 120 leaflets a job, effectively, that can go out either side. I still don't think it's worth my time and effort to walk around leafleting. The only time that would be viable is if I can almost guarantee that at least 50% of the time I'd bump into a customer. I'm not a big fan of door knocking. It's not something I'm confident at. It's not something I enjoy having done to me, and I'd feel a bit disingenuous doing it. So if I were to catch a customer, it's like, in the middle of summer, they're out in their front garden trimming the hedge, like, do you mind if I leave you this? Get into a chat that way. I'd probably do it in the height of a season where I can guarantee people are probably outside and you can catch them. That's probably the only time.
I door knocked yesterday, one house. I've actually recorded this. I went out yesterday. This is going to be for your ears only until this goes out, because the video might go out before Thursday. I went out yesterday with a GoPro. I had these little mics behind me, which they hook on your shirt. I stuck the GoPro in the van, and it would watch me walk to a house or a few commercial buildings like I went into, and I'd have the conversations, you could hear it, and I went and door knocked, and I got this one house. I ended up from about 10 door knocks, I got 3 jobs yesterday, which is wicked, really good for the video. One of them, you should see the state of these gutters. I'll send it to you on Discord after this chat. They're like a jungle, but worse. Like, they're honestly pushing the gutter in off the fascia boards. Anyway, they've got solar panels, no moss on the roof at all, but these pigeons, honestly, the roof was full of pigeons. They've got no mesh over their solar panels. So today I sent off a quote, because they asked for it, of meshing the solar panels. One side of the garage roof needs a scrape, clearing out the gutters. But from one door knock, if I get the mesh in, that's about 700 quid. The gutter clearance, I've charged £110 a side, because it was literally like a jungle. It's awful. And then, and the solar panel cleaning as well. They look terrible. But from one door knock, that was quite successful. The only reason why I knocked the door as well is because they live opposite my girlfriend's house, and I can see the guys, and I can see, I was like, I've got to knock around there just to at least ask if I can quote it or something.
In that area, why not?
Yeah, but I thought that was quite good. I do know what you mean, though. I think if someone was to door knock me, I'd feel a bit like, go away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's some times where I've honestly just done it because I've got nothing to do that day, or I'm desperately in need of something to do, some work or whatever. And it does kind of work for me in that sense if I really do need to do it.
Yeah. I'm more comfortable door knocking if I'm already on a job and I want to knock and say, hey, I'm doing gutters next door and my camera's picked up that yours are full. Do you want them done? Like, I'm happy doing that because I'm already doing the job. They can see I've got tools out. I'm not just a random person turning up trying to like sell them a service. They can see that I'm already doing a service. But something as simple as like asking the neighbour to move their car because you might splash it. Things like that go a long way as like a courtesy, and people really respect that. And then they might ask you to quote for themselves. I've had success that way in the past. But yeah, door knocking to hand a flyer or just to try and sell myself. Like, I think if I have one bad experience and someone gets really like angry or annoyed about it, that will kind of demotivate me from going to the next one, because you're kind of like thinking, oh, is someone else going to do that? Is this going to put my mood down? And if you're not in a good mood, you're not going to be able to sell yourself. I think you've got to have quite a thick, I think in a sense, you've got to have quite a thick skin. And even though I consider myself having that kind of thick skin, I think when I'm doing something I'm already like not happy about doing, something I wouldn't like done to me, it kind of just knocks you down. You'll just get into a little spiral and just like, nah, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Just wait until I get a staff member, send them out and let them do it. That's what I pay you for.
It's a bit weird, to be honest, because I actually find that being told no makes me want to knock the next one.
Oh, really?
To try and get it. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't knock me back. Because I get a no and I'm like, right, I've got to get one now. I set myself a challenge of trying to get one as quickly as possible, like some days. Like yesterday, like I say, I was like, right, I'm going to go out door knocking. Actually, I record this one. Stuck the GoPro on, like I say, and just knocked until I got that first job. Then it was like a flow. I got like I say, 3 out of 10 yesterday. And I was just
got the dopamine hit and went for it.
Yeah.
I think... Yeah, I couldn't knock it until I tried it, admittedly. I'm just probably overthinking the initial idea of it, because just yeah, I'm not ready for that. I don't need to do that yet. If I was desperate, then yeah, I'd probably right. I better go and knock a couple of doors, see what happens. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
who
I also
knows?
heard back from this office job, which I spoke to you about,
Oh yeah, the big one.
the big one. They're waiting. Oh, I think I sent you the message, didn't I? Actually, they're
Yeah,
waiting until the building is
they
purchased
bought it.
before they're going ahead. Quite interesting though. I learned quite a lot from that quote, mostly to you, to be honest.
Yeah,
But I think the reason why I was so like I want to win it is because it would be like experience in a way that I would always carry, no matter if it's a residential job or a commercial job. You know that ultimately that is going to be the hardest roof clean I'll probably ever do.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So no
It's the
matter what,
first one as well. You'll remember it. You'll remember your mistakes. You'll remember your wins, and it will boost your
yeah,
experience. And like I said, just because you haven't got it yet doesn't mean they won't get in contact in 6 months, in
mm,
a year's time. Like it's still on the table because you've got through to contact. If they decide we want our roof done, they've already dealt with you, they've already gone through your process. Chances are they don't want to have to waste time because time is money to any business. They'll just go, right, go back to this guy, get a quote, and then maybe the other two or three companies they had and see if their prices changed. So don't
it
count yourself out of that.
it kind of seemed like I was the only one that they actually asked for a quote.
Yeah,
The email I
you might
received
be the
back was
first.
something like, "Hi Liam, this is a lot more than what we thought. However, we're going to go through the purchase of the building first, and then we'll get back to you," or something like that. But
Yeah,
it almost sounded like they hadn't had anyone else that had priced it up. So
yeah. You might have been the first one. They might want to get three quotes eventually. Like they might
yeah,
be looking for other companies. Thing is, you've got quite a good website and a good like online presence, and it's quite a professional look, and you've got quite a lot about you and what you do, and you've got a lot of like images and things out there, so they can see your quality of work. They may have discovered your YouTube channel and see how you work and how you are, and sometimes that's important because they get like a personal see into who you are and what kind of person you are, and
mm,
they're like, yeah, we can work with that. We'll just take him.
yeah,
So there's you never know why someone might just solely pick you, or if they're just coming across as that and they are getting like five or six different quotes. But
mm,
don't count yourself out of the race kind of thing because you just don't know.
yeah, yeah,
They might purchase the building, and go right, we got this left over, let's do it.
yeah.
Because that was quite a big roof and all the cladding and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the
So it's
cladding, the windows at the pitch of the roof, at the ridge tile almost. They were
yeah,
windows.
so it's a lot of work.
Mm.
A hell of a lot of work, and yeah, you don't want to underprice something like that, even though you'd want it for like the experience and stuff. Like you could easily kill yourself on a job like that.
Mm.
Um,
So if
like
one thing goes
in terms
wrong,
of like yeah, and it's like I did that for nothing. I did that for like 10% of the profit margin. It's just not worth it.
yeah, and I'm now broken. I'm bedbound for a whole
Yeah.
month, kind of thing.
I mean, was it your last podcast? You were like, I did two roofs in a row or something, and you're
Yeah,
like, you got to think that could be 12 days of
almost the
just
same.
constant. And it's like, yeah, if two break you, what would 10 do? And you might want the experience, but halfway through the job, you're like, I wish I didn't take this
I
on.
regret this. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's good you have the drive for it, and you really want to dig your teeth into it. But I think there will be more opportunities that will give you that same experience and be easier jobs or harder. Who knows?
mm. Yeah.
But yeah, don't. It's the first one. It's that dopamine hit of oh yeah, I've put the quote in. Let's see.
Mm.
So
Do you use LinkedIn at all?
do I use LinkedIn? I have a LinkedIn. I set it up a year ago and I haven't logged in since. So
Oh right.
no.
The only reason I
Um,
ask is because I put a video on there the other day.
yeah.
I basically screen recorded one of my YouTube videos, edited it all up, put it on LinkedIn, and it got like quite a lot of reactions. Obviously, people on LinkedIn are mostly people that work for a business or own a business. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think in the commercial space, LinkedIn could be a thing that becomes something.
I'm actually going to write that down and explore that because I've not thought about that.
Yeah, well, it was just by chance because my dad came in and spoke to me about it the other day because his company are on there and everything like this, and they saw someone random doing it somewhere, like a pressure washing video almost, and he
Yeah.
said just stick a video or stick something on there. So I literally did that. I made an account, stuck something on there, and it did quite well. But obviously, I haven't had any contact. But I'm just saying, if you like repeatedly do that, like you say, the retargeting kind of way,
I suppose if you were to put out commercial quotes and link your LinkedIn with it, Like, it's a trusted social media brand. It's not quite Facebook and things like that. It's like it's more of a professional approach that could really engage with commercial, and I think that could be something to push,
For something to
especially if you're already
explore,
getting
yeah.
attention. Like, I'm definitely writing that down because that could be a hidden potential.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
Potential that
mentioned it.
potential that can separate you from your local competition. Like we were saying, utilize everything and anything to get an edge. And I don't even think I know anybody who uses LinkedIn. So,
No, this is
like,
the thing. It's quite
for
tailored,
this
isn't it,
kind of
to
thing.
business owners
Yeah.
or people that work for quite a large business.
This
Um,
would be one for the comment section. If you use LinkedIn to promote your exterior cleaning business, comment and tell us how you're doing with it,
yeah,
because that is going to be an interesting. That could be a hidden gem.
yeah, explore it. Like I said to Craig last week as well, the cookies thing on the website. I've never
Mm.
had anyone use it. If you stick a
Oh, the
cookie,
tracking thing.
yeah. So if you stick a cookie on your website, someone clicks on it, something doorbell goes, whatever, and then later on you're popping up as a sponsored on their Instagram, Facebook, come back up as one of their Google searches, something like that.
Yeah.
Could that be another thing to explore as well in terms of marketing? Do you think?
There's no reason not to do that, provided you're following the legalities. I don't know if there's like, it wouldn't be like a data protection, but like that kind of element. Like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
putting something on, you're putting a cookie on, you'd have to make them accept the cookies and explain it. You have a privacy policy and terms and conditions of use, I guess. When you get the little pop up to say accept these cookies, like, you'd have to have something like that
yeah, yeah,
to make it legal. You'd probably use a company to manage it, and then it's something to explore. I don't know anything about that. There's no reason not to use it if you can do it in a way that isn't intrusive and illegal
I haven't actually
or
looked how
like grey area.
expensive it is either. I
Yeah,
haven't actually looked into it too much. It was just an idea.
yeah.
But
There's no reason not to, because if someone's already typed that service in, and you're coming up on the side of like, yeah, clean your gutters or get some pressure washing done or something, and it's there, it's in their face, it's in their face, it's in their face. It's just what we were saying. Like, retargeting is going to be key. I think
yeah,
you'll get more work out of retargeting people than you will just trying to target as many as possible. You've got to kind of find a balance between volume and I don't know what the opposite of that
yeah,
is. Like, yeah, you want to find that between the expanse and yeah, volume
yeah.
retargeting.
So with marketing
Hmm.
coming to kind of the way that I'm thinking at the moment. You said about earlier whether you're going to do Google ads or Facebook ads.
I wouldn't
What,
do Facebook. It'd be Google.
oh, that's exactly my answer as well. Someone asked me about Facebook ads.
No Facebook.
Yeah. The
I
thing that
think
go on.
I had this exact experience the other day. I was scrolling Facebook on my phone, and when you kind of tap to scroll up, but you kind of tap and you do that thing with your finger where it just comes off a little bit. I tapped on an advert and I was like, instantly go back, and I was thinking, I've just cost someone a click, and I don't even know what the ad I clicked on was. I just went back and carried on scrolling, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, that's so easy to do on social media platforms that I think you'll either get people that are just like wanting the cheapest possible quote or just fishing for information, because they're not using Facebook to look for things. I see Facebook advertising in whether you're doing it for free by posting or by paying for it. It's kind of like you're putting yourself in front of people. They're not going there to search for you. So if you're kind of paying for an ad and they're kind of accidentally clicking it and instantly going back and scrolling up, you're wasting potential. If they do see it, it's like, oh, I'll just message them, see what they charge, and can we get a rough price or something like that. Whereas with a Google ad, people are going to Google to search. They want to type something in, and if they're typing in gutter clearing near me or something, and you come up, they will be clicking you with intent. And I think that's where you want to be with online ads is target those services that make that intent,
yeah. I
and
think
rather than leave it to chance.
I was looking at Google ads earlier because I've just agreed to make someone a website and run their Google ads for them.
Hmm.
Yesterday, I had something like 23 clicks and 4 conversions. Now, conversion isn't actually true. The conversion is the call to action button. So if someone's gone to send me a message, a form, a call, something like that, that tracks
Yeah.
the conversion. Now I'm spending I spent £23 yesterday, and like I say, conversion rate quite good. Now, if you close, I'm pretty sure 3 of them were gutters and 1 of them was roof. I still haven't heard back from the roof one. I closed 2 of the gutters so far, not the third one. So in £23, I've technically earned 160 quid roughly, if you count, £40 a side kind of thing, standard.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge thing that sticks you out compared to other people locally, because I don't know anyone in my town that's actually on Google Ads or runs it. I think it's one of those things as well that separates you. Obviously, you can go a bit deeper into it, and you can spend more, which will cover you for the whole day and things like this. You get a few more conversions and things, but I think it is kind of key now for me to run Google Ads no matter what. I don't think I'll ever turn them off again, because it's my main. I can see if I go to Google Analytics, which I won't do quite now because it takes a little while to log in and things. You can see organic, so who's clicked on your website out of typing in your website. Facebook, Google, as in Google, like just find you, like LRS exterior cleaning. Do you know what I mean? Which is also part of the organic. Then you can see the ads clicks, and you can see things like TikTok, Facebook, all this stuff that's clicked on your thing.
Yeah.
I do think in terms of exposure it is number 1 for me. I don't think anything else. I don't even think these leaflets, even if I don't know, it could change because I haven't actually done a big drop like this. I don't. I think it is the main thing for me.
I mean, yeah, Google Ads makes sense because, like I say, people go with it with intent. I think what is good about them is it does sound expensive, like £20 a day. You're like, what's that, like 140 a week or something? But all you need is one job, and that is just paid for the week.
Yeah.
You may not have made profit on the week, but you've paid for all your Google Ads. You've got one person you've done a job for that are now on your books to do a gutter clean in 6 months or 12 months' time and upsell their patio and maybe get their neighbours involved in the process. It's like, I think this is where I'm at with Google Ads. I'm still doing my cost analysis of what I want to spend a day because I'm like, that very reason. If I can get one job that pays for a big portion of it, and that's a customer on the books, and like I just said, everything else, it's like that's a big win. Because it only takes one job to. We've seen how the snowball effect is. You're on a job, and then next thing you have 3 people down the road asking for a price, and go to one of their houses, and then 2 more people have asked you for a price. So it's like it is the snowball effect, and I think spending more. There's going to be a sweet spot for spending. You don't want to put like £300 a day. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Unless
But
you're
I think
McDonald's.
20, 40, 50 a day or something like that to generate a couple of leads. And the thing is, you can, like you say, you can turn them on and off when you want. So if you're kind of like, oh, this hasn't quite worked out, I better get some other jobs in other avenues to afford these ads, you can always do that.
Yeah.
Whereas with leaflets, you've got to pay everything up front and hope for the best. So it's kind of like, that's more of a risk in a sense because you don't know if you're going to get anything in for your whatever you spent on the leaflets or so.
Yeah.
Whether you're disclosing that publicly, I don't know.
Well, no, I don't mind exposing it because I'm doing a bit of a journey on it. So, I mean, the print of the leaflets was 250 quid, roughly, somewhere about there. And then Royal Mail to distribute them was 1,200 and something plus VAT. So, in my eyes, with them based as
1,700, isn't it?
Yeah, with them based as a roof cleaning render leaflet, 2 jobs back from it gets me my money back. That was my idea for the first drop. Because, if, like I say, if you're going down the window cleaning route, you kind of need to get quite a lot of customers in order to make your money back if you're going to do it that way.
Yeah. So if you spent, what's that, 1,700 for how many leaflets went out? 20,000 or
20,000.
20,000.
It was 16,407, but
yeah, 16,000. So if you did 1,700 divided, what do you say you're spending on Google Ads? 23.
about 20 to £25 a day, yeah.
So you've got, if you say £23, that's 74 days that you can run Google Ads for the same price.
Yeah.
So you're targeting 16,000 properties in one hit or over a course of a week, or you can stay online for 73 days. I think you've still got the same potential return rate because you never know who's going to click on your ad or who's searching you in your area. versus sending out leaflets. It's like you say, you've got the only difference is people are going to Google with intent, whereas leaflets are kind of like, I'll just put this in front of you and maybe you'll take me on. So yeah, for 70, 74, 73 days, when you eyeball it up like that and you say you've already had 3 leads from a 20 quid,
Yeah.
like it just shows the power of Google Ads, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think now you said that, actually, the leaflet drop for me has to do really well in order for it to make sense to do again.
But you've also now got a second option, which is you put your 16,000 out. Those people now see you online because they've got the idea of gutter cleaning near me, and then they see your Google ad. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I've got your leaflet through, never heard of you. Now I see you on Google. Oh, well, let's go to the social media side. Let's go to the Google business page or something. They'll start looking into you because they've seen you twice. And I think, in my opinion, if I had a leaflet through the door and I was like, I'm interested in that service, no idea who these are, let's just have a look around me. If I see their ad, I might click it and then start doing that very same thing. Actually, I trust these now because I've seen a leaflet. They're paying online ads. They're not just a random coming up to the door. Whereas you start Googling other companies, it's like you're back to that same square one where it's like, I've just discovered this from a Google search. Who do I trust now? The guy who's put a leaflet and a ad out? Or
Yeah.
someone I've just found? So
I think this is why they
it's...
come hand in hand. I think this is why I've kind of gone down the route of leaflets as well as running the ads at the same time, because if someone gets
Yeah.
a leaflet, whatever, gets distracted, goes on Google, oh, I remember now, let me type in,
Yeah,
can't remember what the company
exactly.
was, it will show. That was the
Yeah.
idea, because I think if you concentrate on one, and then that exact scenario happens, they're going to find someone else. It's like, I don't know if you ever got an email from the radio asking them if you wanted to do an advert for the radio. For me, that screams out saying, oh, they'll listen to me on the radio, but they're driving. What they're doing while they're driving, not really with it, kind of listening, kind of not. They'll pull up and be like, oh, actually, yeah, I need that, but I can't remember what the company was. And then we'll go, window cleaning near me, gutter clearing near me, something. And whoever is on Google Ads will then reap the rewards, do you know what I mean, of your paid on the radio. So
exactly.
I think
you've got to be ahead.
Yeah, I think everything comes hand in hand. I think you kind of need to be doing it all.
And this goes back to the big companies of, like, we spoke about McDonald's. They've got TV adverts. They've probably got radio adverts. They've got online static ads, Google ads. They've probably got, I don't know if they send flyers out or anything, but they'll kind of like promote themselves in many different ways to keep them targeted to you. And it's like, I think that's where you're thinking here is, yeah, you get your flyers out, you get your Google ads out. It's the same kind of thing. The radio ads would be quite interesting. I think the only radio ads I can think of are the ones with songs. They make stupid, catchy, annoying jingles.
Yeah.
And that's the ones that stick. Because when you're driving, you're not really concentrating. So to hear a tune, you get stuck in your head. It's like a little earworm, isn't it? That's how you remember them.
Like We Buy Any Car kind of thing. That's how you remember them, isn't it? Yeah.
You have to do something that's memorable on the radio because people are distracted by what's going on around them. So yeah, if you were to do the radio, you'd have to get your best singing hat on.
I think it was just a local radio station, which obviously isn't like like Kiss, Radio 1, Heart, all this kind of like big things. So you're already targeting quite a limited but local area. So the people listening are already going to be in your Google Ads region. They'll listen and then they type in gutter clearing near me, and you will be the first to come up. Like we said, like you're going to show up, and it's with intent as well because they've searched for you, and you're here, there, and everywhere. They'll see exactly what they are. They kind of trust you, don't they? And that's how they ultimately go with you.
Yeah, it's that whole idea of planting the seed and letting it grow kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've got another question.
Yep.
I want you to kind of go on a bit of a spree about buyer-side usage. The reason why is because I know that someone out there will be listening for the first time, quite new to the industry, and don't actually understand the hazards of using things like buyer-side. So if we could start with obviously PPE, things like that. What would you say is the absolutely minimum requirement for PPE?
Face mask, 100%. I'd say a full face mask. So you've got the visor and the thing. Just protect your face because that stuff is nasty. You need your filters, the PR3 filters, the ABEC PR3s. P3, sorry, P3Rs, I think they're called. They're the ones they use in asbestos use. When they're taking away asbestos, it's very good against like waterborne particles, oil-based particles, dust. Basically, it's a chemical filter.
Yeah.
Protect your face, protect your breathing, and then rubber gloves. The key is in the name. It's biocide. It's Latin and Greek. Bio, life, side killer. The same as geno is gene, and side is killer, gene killer, genocide. Herbicide, plant killer.
Yeah.
That stuff it is deadly. I think a lot of people take it for granted. They're quite happy to just go, oh yeah, because I can buy it off the shelf. It's fine. It's really not like that. There's a daily exposure limit on the stuff which you shouldn't really be around. You'll find that in the SDS sheets and all sorts. I think the absolute important thing is protection. That stuff you know, it will kill you very,
Yeah.
very quickly if misused.
So
I think you only need to get like a shot's worth in your mouth, and it's like there's no hope for you.
yeah.
It's like
So would you say that what do you call them, like a suit, head to toe? So that's a bit
I
over the
mean,
top. The only let me change that actually. If you
yeah.
let's say it's this time of year, not summer when you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt, would you
Yeah.
say all year round you should probably wear one?
I think a suit is a good idea if you want to do that. It depends how you're applying it. I mean, if you're spraying it everywhere willy nilly, atomizing it, you should be in the most protection you should. You shouldn't really be atomizing it in the first place, but we know people do that. Um, my application is from water-fed pole into a brush, very, very controlled. You don't lift up the brush, the backpack's off or the applicator's off. Um, don't let that thing go airborne, basically. Try and keep it contact with surface, minimize your risk of wind drift, especially like on roofs and things. Yeah, if you've got trainers on or something which can absorb if you're in puddles of it, that's not a good idea. Make sure you got rubber boots on, wellies, protect like your feet, basically. You don't want that touch stuff on your skin. I mean, it's bad enough to kill microbes and everything everywhere. Just a drop of that in a pond will kill everything in the pond. It's a disinfectant. I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
So
it's not good. So if you think about getting it on your skin, what's that going to kill on your skin? And then it's absorbing. And you think of that absorbing into like your bloodstream and things, getting into your body. What damage is that doing over time?
yeah, but
Um,
this kind of thing needs to be. Do you not think it needs to be a bit more regulated?
I'm one of those people that think that they should paywall it behind like a PA1, PA6 kind of thing. Um, there are a lot of responsible people out there that will treat it with respect, but with the amount of people that can get hold of it from companies that don't really regulate the sale of it, there are people out there that will just quite happily be shorts, t-shirt, vaping, smoking around the stuff, like spraying it one-handed onto a roof from a distance, and it's like they don't understand the damage they're doing because like it's not killing things in front of their eyes. Like you know how hypo just dissolves stuff in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
Like people kind of think hypo is worse than biocide because they can't see what the biocide's doing in real time. It's like on a microbial level. It's not until like they get a call 2 days later. It's like my patio's gone bright orange. Why? And they come. It's ruined. It's like no, that's the microbes or the cells. Just everything on there is dying and exploding, and they don't quite understand that. And I think that is the biggest risk with chemicals of that kind of effect. They
Yeah.
just don't understand what they're doing, what they're using. I mean, it's fully understanding what they're using
I
is the key thing.
I think another important thing is between back 50 and DDAC.
Hmm.
If we go into names a little bit, so we've got things like GK Pro,
Hmm.
we've got the BioClear 50,
By Clear, yeah.
Algo Clear. Any others?
Back Clear 50.
Back that's a back, isn't it? DDAC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the DDAC one, sorry, let me make that a bit clearer, is
By
the
Clear.
BioClear, GK Pro, Algo Clear, Uh, is there any others I'm missing?
There's tons of different types.
Yeah,
They're like quantum ammonium compounds, aren't they?
yeah,
QACs and things.
but
But yeah, they're the main three. You're going to have benzoalkonium chloride, which is back, or you've got dimethyl, it's disecyl dimethyl ammonium chloride, which is
right,
DDAC. Um, and they basically do the same thing. They will destroy things at a microbial level and kill it all. So BAC and DDAC are the two kind of compounds. Then I think GK Pro is a DDAC based, I believe it's DDAC based product, whereas BioClear from Pure Seal is the 40-50% is DDAC based, and you've got your BAC 50s, which is your benzoyl chlorides.
yeah. So
Um,
with people not knowing the difference in terms of this time of year, winter wise, which one and when should you opt for the other?
so in colder weathers, your DDACs are going to respond better. You still want to kind of keep, out of freezing conditions and things, but if you had a choice at, say, 3 degrees Celsius to use DDAC or BAC, DDAC all the way. It's going to respond a bit better. Gonna it's gonna get in there, penetrate down a bit. I'm not 100% sure exactly the differences at the microbial level, how it penetrates in and kills everything off. But it gets in there and it disrupts the cell membranes, explodes them. Works better in a colder temperature. I believe after a roof scrape, you should be dedacking because the absorption is a lot stronger and stuff compared to back. Back is a surfactant. It doesn't contain surfactant. It is a surfactant as far as I'm aware. So it takes a little bit longer to get penetrating.
Yeah,
So after a scrape, if you really want to get everything saturated, DDAC is usually the recommended, but doesn't stop using back after a scrape. You will get the same result eventually.
I always have, and I didn't know the science behind it. I always used a DDAC, which was GK Pro on scrapes, and I always used
Hmm.
back 50 on low pressure cleans.
Yeah,
Absolutely no science why. I just feel like I don't. I feel like the price kind of justifies it a bit for me
yeah.
when I first started.
Um, Again, I'm not 100% confident in the answer on the science behind it, but there is a reason for
Yeah.
why they recommend it, but they're completely interchangeable. You're not going to get, bad results using back where it says you should use DDAC.
Mm. So
It's just the way they disrupt the membranes and how they absorb and the cleaning potential. I think DDAC lasts a little bit longer than back as a result.
yeah. So
It's a
the
bit
average
stronger.
2 yearly mark, isn't it? We kind of normally stick with on roofs.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you think the DDAC is slightly longer, or do you think back slightly shorter than that?
Without knowing the science behind it, I'd probably go with they're about the same, but you probably
Yeah.
get a bit more range out of DDAC, like especially like temperatures. And I think DDAC is, again, we can't really control the weather. I think if it's going to rain within 24 hours, then DDAC is going to be a better one. It's not going to wash away so easily.
Yeah.
It's going to absorb a lot quicker. I think that is what it's down to is how fast it absorbs as well.
So if people want to learn a bit more, um, biocide training is by Pure Seal, isn't it?
Yes,
So that's a recommended thing now, isn't it, in the industry? Where if you're going to be
I would
using it,
I would say so. It's not a mandatory requirement to use these or purchase these things, but I think you're going to learn a lot on that course. It's an online based course, so
yeah, yeah. So
um,
with that as well comes the opposite, which is the hypochlorite side.
mhm.
We'll go through the PPE again on this side, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it. I'd say same mask, same filters, just like protect your face. I wear a full face mask. Don't leave it to if I've just got glasses on, anything can splash up under there, and your eyes are really important.
Yeah.
Don't take those for granted. The things we use will blind you in a snap second if you yeah you give it a chance.
So
In terms of PPE, again, gloves, boots, just keep yourself protected. Don't spray it everywhere like an idiot. Don't shower yourself in the stuff, kind of thing. Um, if it's really windy, consider applying it brush and bucket. Um, I'm not against the use of like X jets and things like that. I think they have their place, but I think you really need to pay attention to what's around. Again, no ponds, no plant life, no wildlife areas. If there's lots of wind and it's coming your way, don't spray it. Just be smart with it. I think I think a lot of people are quite quick to say, "Oh, because these applicators exist and it speeds up that speeds up the job, we can profit quicker." I think that's a really bad attitude when you're using like life-changing chemicals, in my opinion. Um,
I think you should
even
have. Sorry to interrupt you.
I was yeah, carry on. You carry on.
Yeah. I think it's important to note there that you should probably have at least two ways of applying, no matter what.
Mhm. Yeah,
For me, I have the X-Jet in the backpack. I do also have a dosatron as well, but that's a different story with the biocide.
yeah,
But yeah, I think it's important to have multiple ways of applying, like you say, for the weather conditions where you are as well. You know, even the little things around, like if you're around grass or anything,
yeah.
get it all nice and wet first if you're going to atomize it, because otherwise you will literally spray it and kill
Yeah,
everything pretty much.
everything. Yeah,
Sorry, we should have coughed.
that's right. I think if you haven't got access to a brush and a bucket as an exterior cleaner, you're doing it wrong. That is, one of the most important things we use for cleaning up. Anybody can use a brush and bucket and mix up a bit of a chemical and apply it with a brush and bucket. Really controlled.
Yeah.
Backpack, great little pump in the backpack. Yeah, that's really controlled. If you're in a big open area or in a place you feel confident with a X-Jet, go for it. But I think a lot of people jump on the X-Jet a bit too quick sometimes and create more problems that they're not aware of. Like, yeah, hypo will kill grass. Even if you wet it right down, it's still gonna kill the edges and stuff. Um, it's really easy to kill Doris's plants from wind drift and just walk away. And you may never get a call about it because the customer hasn't put two and two together. They're like, oh, there must be a fungal infection in the ground or something, not really realizing the chemicals you use have done that. Um,
Fence
and you're
panels as well.
really, yeah, fence panels. You can, well, but it's the lignins in the wood that hypo damages, which is like the natural glues, the structure of the wood. You could never really put hypo on wood. I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, mix up a really weak solution. Don't think they realise the damage they're doing long term. Um, in fact, I went to visit a decking a couple of days ago, which had obvious signs of hypo use in the past, and it's just like it looks like it's rotted, but it's not rot, if that makes sense. It's like all the grains come apart, all the you know how decking has the little like the like tread.
Yeah.
It's like cut out. Yeah, you can see all that's kind of like really. You can see damage from the chemical because it's brightened and stuff, and you can see how the wood's really absorbed it, and the glues, the natural like saps and stuff come away. You'll know it when you see it because it kind of looks like rot, but it doesn't react like rot when you poke it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
So
it's that's the kind of things people don't realize is you can hypo a decking no problem, but go back to it in 6 months and the thing's destroyed because of what you've done. It's the long term effects of the chemicals that are the huge problem that people aren't really taking on board.
do you think this is something that I've never attended one, but you know all these training courses that are going up at the moment? Do you think application of the chemicals should be a mandatory thing that are going to go into these training services? Because I know for a fact that when I started, I bought chemicals. I bought hyper. Thought, yes, let's do it. Let's go and absolutely transform opacity. I didn't know what I was doing. I literally
Yeah,
just
we all did.
poured the hypo straight onto Indian. Luckily, it's Indian sandstone. If that
Yeah.
was, I don't know, porcelain, tarmac, anything like
Limestone.
that, limestone would have ruined it. Absolutely
Yeah.
would have ruined it. So I think the training. I don't know that Pure still do the approved applicator one, don't they? That's something.
Yeah, I haven't done the Pure Seal in-person courses, so I wouldn't know exactly how they function. I think they do focus on like a lot of like the chemical knowledge. I don't know if you get to use it. I don't know if they would do that. It's if you have the ability to buy it, then it needs to come with a for professional use. It needs to come with more warning, more instruction, more like don't do this in big bold writing because, like you say, we can all get hold of it and pour a whole 25-liter bucket on the floor thinking this is great without realizing what they're doing, and that gets into the water table. That's affecting the ecosystem. It's really not good for the planet. It goes straight down the drain. Shouldn't really get into like drain water and stuff. In the concentration of neat, biocide should never go down the drain. It's the hidden effects that, like I said, it's the hidden effects that are causing a lot of these problems long term, and people don't know what they're doing, and they don't know why it's causing a problem. And you hear it all the time, like you've seen the comments people make about, oh, I haven't got any surfactant, what to use, and it's like, oh, just chuck some fairy liquid in. It's like, that's a no-no. You don't realize that off gassing that's created because you can't see it. There's a video, I'm not going to say who because I don't want to call them out. There's a video in the Discord from back in the summer where someone put neat synergy into a big tub of hypo, and it was off gassing like crazy. The bottle had expanded, and they were like, a few seconds away from effectively that exploding. And if that got onto your skin in that state, you're calling poison control. And it's just from two chemicals they can get off the shelf, and it says you can mix them together, but it needs to be stated that you have to be super dilute and controlled. And that's the issue with mixing chemicals as well. You just don't know what you're putting into what. So really, fairy liquid into hypo. People do it. They say it can be done. Wouldn't recommend it. You don't really know what gases you're putting off. I mean, hypo is made from, I think it's bubbling sodium hydroxide through chlorine gas, and then the fallout, the precipitate, is what they gather, and that creates the hypochlorite. Synergy, for example, Pure Seal, contains sodium hydroxide. Mixing that in, you're kind of doing that same reaction on a huge, uncontrolled scale, and that's what creates these off-gassing and in dangers. And yeah, if that bottle explodes all over you, you're in trouble. I think
that is if you mix the two, isn't it? Because I use Synergy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I use
If you're
Synergy
not-
and it's
if-
got in my eyes and all sorts.
Yeah. You shouldn't really get synergy in your eyes. I mean, it's still caustic. It's still caustic soda,
Yeah.
sodium hydroxide, otherwise known as lye for anyone who has seen that on the back of a soap thing. That's found in fairy liquids and all sorts of soaps. It's the caustic ingredient. It's a caustic ingredient in all caustic TFRs and things. Hydroxide is nasty. You shouldn't really get it on your skin, but it's not going to do the same damage as hypo or biocides. But it's still something you should try and avoid, not get in your eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mixing things together, thinking, oh, this thing cleans this thing cleans this. Mix them together, it's going to be stronger. Doesn't always work like that. You can actually negate the cleaning power of both products and create yourself a chemical issue
Bomb,
at the same
almost.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. I think I don't know exactly what it was off the top of my head, but it's like, hypochlorite with ammonia and then mixing with like vinegar creates something very similar to mustard gas, the thing that was a big problem in World War One. In certain concentrations, you can buy all those things off the shelf.
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's not good. Yeah, it's not good. And this is not an advocation to say you should go and do that and that's how you make it. But people don't realise that if they've got two compounds and they're like, oh, just chuck that in there, it's just a little bit of this, chuck it on the floor. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're breathing in. They don't know what they're exposing customers or surrounding public to, pets, animals, wildlife, what they're putting in the water table, what they're putting down the drain. It's just not good.
I think this is a thing as well where we could probably talk about this for hours. However, I think I always get asked, I don't know about you, I always get asked what I'm actually using.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that letting customers know the name of what you're using, say for example, I only just started out, I didn't realise that you had to wear a mask with sodium hypochlorite. Customer says, oh, what are you putting down in the patio? Oh, it's sodium hypochlorite. It gets rid of all the stains. You do it, whatever, you leave, job's done. A year's time, their patio goes dirty again. And they think, oh, what did he use? Sodium hypochlorite. Type it on Google, sodium hypochlorite. Oh, they sell it at the local pool shop. Go and grab it, pour it, whatever. They don't know exactly what. They probably don't even know that sodium hypochlorite is actually bleach in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
and just stick it down, and then the harmful effects. This is why I've been kind of wary about telling people what I'm using, like in terms of brands and things.
I don't think it's a bad idea telling people what you're using because they have the right to know. If they can purchase it themselves, then they're going to. I think if you can educate them on what it is and understand it, um, like I learned the name benzyl alkonium chloride back 50. So I can tell the customer what it is, what it does, it's a biocide, how it's used, why it's used, and why we use it in the industry, and try and just give them a little bit of 5 minute little chat about it so they understand what's going on in their property. Because if you can, that information will kind of like put them off trying it for themselves. If you don't give them information, they get a bit curious and like, oh, that should be easy to use. You got hold of it. Oh, I can buy it offline. They'll more likely do it themselves. Whereas if you can kind of give them reasoning why it's used and they're not sure, they might kind of go, oh, this is a bit much for me. I'm not going to get involved in doing that myself.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a problem as long as you can provide some kind of education on why you're using it, what it is, and uh, what application it's used for and why it is being used.
I do have one more question, and this will be the
Hmm.
final one on the chemical side.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of mask storage,
Hmm.
how should they be stored? Because I spent a big time of just having it on my van dashboard. Dashboard? Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a long time spent just putting it on there. Obviously, they probably should be stored in a way.
Yeah. I've got
And
a little box,
yeah, so is this like a
a little
Tupperware box
bag,
kind
little
of thing?
box. Yeah, yeah. Just keep it away from anything getting on it. I mean, if you've got it on your dashboard and you're getting covered in dust and all sorts, and you put it on, you breathe in, you're just gonna, it's not
There's
good
no
for you.
point. Yeah,
There's no point. You obviously do not want to store it in the back amongst your
chemicals
all
and
your
things.
chemicals, not in the bottom of a bucket with a mixing jug of hypo on top. It's about being smart with it. If you're putting it on your face, where are you keeping it? Keep it
Yeah,
somewhere safe. You
and
wouldn't keep your shoes outside in the rain and put them on, kind of thing, would you?
and would you
Um,
say that you need a separate one or the exact same one for each hypo and biocide?
as long as you're using the P3 filters, they're rated to protect against asbestos. It's the best
The
filters you
best
can
you can
get.
get. Yeah.
Um, they're expensive, but they're worth it. And change them. I think they give you a rating on them. I try and change mine every few months, every 6 months or so.
Is that just the
Um,
filters?
just filters, yeah.
Mm.
Clean out the
I've
mask and just like take out the filters, soak the mask, just give it a clean because you're breathing in and out of it all the time. Try and wipe that out with some wet wipes or something. But yeah, change your filters fairly regularly. It's
I
worth the expense for your health.
broke my mask quite recently. I do need to order a new one. I think it will go the full face visor. I only had the half one before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I pulled the back too hard, and it obviously pulled away the
Oh
rubber
no.
bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
That's
do
the
need to
thing.
get a
If
new
you,
one.
yeah, there's no point of using if it's letting air in, negating the filter use. You might as well not be wearing a mask, kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
I think that is one of the most important pieces of kit in our industry to protect yourself because you never know. You can be as careful as you want, and all it takes is to have the lid off of say a hyper barrel, and you take it out your van and you put it on the floor, and that little splash that can come up goes in your face. Not good.
mm. Mm.
You never know when you're going to get stuff off. I don't take a lid off a back bio hypo or anything without a mask on. Not worth the risk.
Yeah,
Um, it's the bread and butter of the job, isn't it? Like you're there to do the job, put your mask on.
mm.
No point in taking a risk. Some people do, and that's up to them. But it takes a split second for it all to go wrong, and your life changes, or worse.
Yeah. So
Um,
I've got another few questions we need to wrap through, if that's all
yeah,
right.
go for it.
Have you got any specific plans or goals for this year that you want to achieve in business or in personal life?
Grow the business. So my goal with Onyx is to grow it to a point where it is running with multiple staff. Grow it to a point where it's, I wouldn't want to say a household name, but got to strive to be the best sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I want to grow it big. I want to get to a point where in the future it can be sold, um, and it is a functioning company. Um, I think it's great work for myself and things, but there's only so far you can go, and like you have a limit of what you can achieve. Especially when you are doing your own marketing, you're out doing the jobs, you're dealing with inquiries and quotes and things. Like at some point, you're going to need help,
Yeah,
and to get help, you need to grow. You can't just go, right, I'm in a position where I can afford someone now, and then just stop. You have to keep pushing through. I think if you're going to grow a business that's successful, there's two ways of doing it. You can manage it all yourself and stress yourself out and, have an early retirement that doesn't suit you, or you can get it to a point where you are taking a step back and letting it run itself and trusting other people with it and getting to a point where, you sell it for your pension.
yeah. So
Uh,
so you are looking to build and expand and take on employees and things.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that would be the end goal. I'd like to think this year is the growth year, and 2026 is getting people on board. Um, I mean, I'm already employing my sister. Very basic, just managing my social media stuff like posts and things, just the free adverts. Um, because that is time that I don't have to worry about. I can focus on sending out emails and generate leads, go out and do the jobs. I think yeah, the quicker you get more people on board and you keep that element of growth, I think the better off your company can be.
yeah,
Um, because there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and I think they're too scared to grow. Either they're not business minded or they're not looking to learn how to be the owner of a business. You know what I mean? They're quite happily plodding along doing the jobs, but at the same time, I think every business should look to grow because at some point you're going to get into situations which are going to set you back, and it doesn't take much financial hit to make your business bankrupt. So I think you need a good buffer and a good strategy to get through those times.
yeah.
um,
I think this year, like you say, is a growth year
mhm.
for me too. I think by the end of 2026, like you said, to bring someone in looks like the way it's going to go. I would have likely said this year, however, I think it's you need a lot of capital in order to bring someone in to begin with. Then you need the work to come in too, and there's like so many things that can go wrong and mess everything up for taking like such a risk. Do you know what I mean? So I think this year is going to be about doing as much work as possible, the absolute best job, getting all the good reviews, things like this, and like you say, next year is going to be the ultimate
Yeah,
growth. Um, but do you have anything kind of personal that you'd like to reach in 2025 at all?
grow the business. All
Yeah,
my time and energy is on Onyx currently. There are many things I'd love to do in life, but I just don't have that. If I
yeah,
split the time, I won't be focusing on the goal for next year. Because I'm trying to think, what is my 10-year plan? What's my 20-year plan? What's my 1-year plan? Like all at the same time. Like to grow a business and scale it, you need to be all in with it, I think.
yeah,
It is possible if you have the ability to put your mind in 5 different places at the same time and work on all of them efficiently, then great, do it. I'm all in on one thing, um, because yeah, I want to make it work. I want to grow it. I want to get ahead of all the local competition. Um, Something that I'd like to say is like a motivator to anybody listening is this time of the year around winter, we get all the people like struggling in their main business, and they all turn to gutter clearing. I haven't done a gutter job since November as a result of everybody being way cheaper than me. And I refuse to bring my prices down to compete with that, because then I'll just get known for those prices and then I'm stuck in that competition loop. Then next year I have to go even cheaper again to win the jobs. So I think if you can grow your business in multiple different ways to make sure that you're covered for this time of year, middle of summer when everyone's out with their pressure washer and things, try and put your fingers in a lot of pies within your industry that you're comfortable with, and try and grow that way and try and get ahead of pop-up competition, I like to call it, because I see painted decorators like dabbling with the gutter clean because no one wants their kitchen painted in Christmas, and it's completely fine. Everybody's within their rights to do what they want to earn themselves some money, but being in the industry and seeing the people coming in and just taking prices for cheap is quite demotivational. Demotivational. Whereas I know between sort of March and October, I can upsell gutters all year round because those
Yeah,
people will go back to their day job. They'll stop doing it. They won't be as cheap because they've got other work to do. And it's just kind of like living through those down points is is the focus. That's why I kind of want to grow the business, because if I can get to a point where you're sort of paying someone by the hour, you can start competing with those while still giving a good service.
I
And I think
noticed.
this is,
Sorry, carry on.
I was going to say, yeah, finally, a lot of customers will be looking for competitive prices, and they'll either look at the cheapest chips guy that, like I say, is just popping up, doing it for a couple of months and going. They'll be looking towards like me and you that are kind of self-employed, trying to push the business, but we're still in that position where it's like the prices are higher because we got a lot to cover. Or they'll be looking for the big companies, and the big companies have so much volume of work they can afford to pay a staff member £10 an hour or £12 an hour or whatever they charge, and they can go and get that volume and do it for cheap. And then the big company and the pop-up guy are kind of on the same rate, and it's us in the middle that are struggling to try and battle. Do we reduce prices? Do we stick with our guns? And yeah, it's a difficult position to be in. So I think growing to try and become that company that can bring your prices down because you've got the volume on is a good goal to have,
Yeah,
because then you start outpricing your local competition that are in our current position. And no friends in business, common saying. You've got to kind of be ahead of everybody and battle it.
I found that a lot of roofers all of a sudden this winter went into gutter clearing. It
Yeah,
became a bit of a fight. I know that I lost jobs that I even quoted cheap for like friends and family and things, and
yeah,
I'm just thinking like how, but that for a fact that either they're doing it from a gutter vacuum and not using a ladder,
mm,
they're doing it not clearing the downpipes. Something's not going on. It's got
yeah,
to be that, because there's no way that you have time to be able to clear out the gutters with the vacuum, get out there with a ladder just to double check, disconnect the downpipes. Sometimes they're a bit pain in the ass, won't go back in for 10 minutes. Um, get around the back, move it all, clear all the waste, get all your equipment tidy, and get out.
yeah,
And there's no way anyone's doing that for £10 an hour self-employed. Not a chance.
yeah. Exactly. There was I don't want to name the company because that's unfair. I probably shouldn't say this, but they were advertising early December, £8 an entire house for gutter clearing with soffit and fascia cleans, so clearing out and cleaning the plastic. If you got your neighbour involved, they were offering 10% off.
Was it? What is
So
the point?
for 16 quid with 10% off, £1.60. So what's that? 14 pounds 40 or something. You can have two houses done, and that's when I was like, right, I'm not going to focus on gutters anymore, because the amount of comments under that Facebook of like, can you come and do me? Here's my address. People just like literally throwing themselves at it. They must have done a lot of work and probably made a good profit on if they could get through 10, 12 houses a day. That's not for me.
Even so, though, it doesn't make any sense. Like, even a bottle
No.
of Synergy or whatever you use to clean your fascias and your
Yeah.
PVC cost 50 quid
Yeah.
plus delivery. You're not even
But
making.
again, I don't know anything about the business or what their
Yeah,
practices are, but my guess to do that is you just turn up with a ladder, scoop it out, you have a cloth in your hand,
and
very
wipe it down.
liquid, done. Maybe
Yeah,
just water, like who knows? Like you're not making profit. You can't see that money going, very far when expenses and taxes are taken out, if that's even a thing.
yeah.
And
Did
it's yeah, that is clearly a pop-up company that are just trying to get money through for Christmas. They don't do it year round. They just like evenings, weekends, whatever. Just do it when they can. And if that works for them, fair enough. But it doesn't help us. It doesn't help our industry. It doesn't help our pricing structure. Makes it hard for me to justify my price per side when
mm,
I actually had someone call me the way that I got notified by this person was they called me asking for my price. I told them my price per side. Thought I was a rip-off merchant. Actually said those words. I said, "What were you expecting?" And they said, "This post on Facebook I found locally was advertising £8 a house." And I was like, "Where did you see that?" Instantly looked it up.
Mm.
So they were trying to. The customer were ringing me to see if I could beat £8 a house. And that's the damage it does, because now that person now expects every year a company to do it for £8. That guy might not even be back next year. He might have just gone, "This didn't work," and
Mm.
then that's ruined it for that one customer. You've now got to convince them to go with your prices and justify it, and you'll never do that.
I think this is yeah. I mean, around here, I'm kind of friends with people that do similar stuff to me. I kind of
Yeah,
always try and stay, because the fact of the matter is, we want to keep the prices at a high. We want to stay competitive, all of us. Don't want to be that guy that's like
yeah,
£10 a meat, £10 a side, or whatever gutters. You know, you're within 20 quid of each other, and it's mostly about your delivery of your pitch, your sales pitch, if you know what I mean, rather than the
yeah,
I'll just go 20 quid cheaper then. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, there's like four of us that always we kind of stay in contact and whatever else. Whenever we see each other, have a good chat.
yeah,
Um, we don't really have anyone that kind of does it super cheap, like you say, that £8. It's normally like, if like my minimum charge is always 80 quid, no matter if it's a
hmm
terraced, whatever,
yeah,
it's 80 quid, because I get up on the ladder, take away the downpipes, take out whatever I can by hand, then use the gutter vacuum for the bits I can't get, and then
yeah.
give it, like, sometimes I give it a wipe on the inside as well, which,
Okay, yeah.
you know, it kind of
Good
I
for the
feel like it
photos.
justifies its price. Like today, I got to this property at 1:30, and I got home at about half. No, I got home about 6, I think. I did the gutters and the windows, and that was it. And it took me hours to do the gutters. But the reason why is because I was trying to record a bit of content to basically stick on my Facebook page as to why they should choose me for their gutter clearing. It is on
Yeah,
my TikTok now, but yeah, no, I think, yeah, if that was the case here, I think I would drop out the gutter game as well. I don't think it's worth anything less
yeah. It's
than
not.
the minimum price.
The quality of work we can put out, yeah, okay, we're doing it from the floor of the vacuum, and I use a camera with everything so I can record it, show the customer it's been done. They can see it. It's still your time, and you've got to make personal profits, you've got to make business profits. It's not worth doing it for less than your minimum charge. Your minimum charge will be set because that's what you need to earn
Yeah,
for the time spent. And like you say, if you're chucking a ladder up, disassembling downpipes, clearing them by hand, getting them wiped out, then yeah, you're doing more than what someone's going to just do with a little scoop and just chuck it on the floor
yeah,
and not even get it in a bucket kind of thing. There is a place for everybody's pricing structure. There are going to be people cheaper, there's going to be people more expensive, and there is a place for everybody. It's how you sell yourself in the business. One of the things I pride myself on. In fact, I can go back to Craig's question because I've just thought of this. The hidden gem that I couldn't live without. It's not even a tool. I've got a folder in the van. It's got my logo on, documents and safety sheets. Go to every job carrying it. It's got my insurance documents printed out. Flash that to the customer. It's got all the data sheets for anything I carry in the van, SDS sheets. One, so I can show the customer that I'm using products, good products. But two, if there was ever an accident, that's in the van. If poison control are called or medical staff are called, directed to that. It's got all
yeah,
the information they're going to need about the products. It's important. It's got my waste carrier license in the back and everything. And I flash that to the customer, and I like to try and stand out by doing that because I turn up saying, "All work is fully insured, fully invoiced. You know who I am. Here's my documents. Read through it. Here's what I use. These are the chemicals I use. These are what they're going to do for you." We have a little chat like that. I don't think I've done a quote that's quicker than half an hour as a result. All my
oh
quotes
really?
take a long time. I'm not in and out. I'm very thorough, and I win a huge portion of my quotes by doing that. So I think it's very valuable if you can sell yourself and show who you are, prove who you are, show you're legit. Turn up with your branded T-shirt on and your branded workwear, and just be that guy, be that salesperson in that method. You'll win your jobs, and I think that justifies a lot of my higher prices because I'm not the cheapest in the area. I'm not looking to be the cheapest. I'm looking to be the best. I want to do the high end quality work the best I can, and that's how I justify it. Turn up with the documents, paperwork. A lot of people see that, and then I get a call back, and I'll always ask why someone chose me if I know they've had other quotes, and they have always said because you carry the document book. I think
Yeah.
everybody in our game should start doing that if you're worth your pinch of salt.
Something I've got all the SDS sheets for things in the van,
Yeah,
just in case I ever had an accident and there's things that have leaked and whatever else.
yeah,
Um, but in terms of quoting now, I've kind of switched to being quick rather than being thorough.
hmm
So if I get a message, a call, an email, something, I will try to reply as quickly as possible.
yeah,
Um, Within 2 minutes, I try to get to, and
yeah.
I've seen success from it. Otherwise, I still do the same quoting methods where I'll look on Google Maps. I'll look on Google Earth. I might go to the house if it's close. Like tomorrow, I'll completely shot myself in the foot tomorrow. I've got to be an hour and a half away from home, an hour and a half around the other side, and an hour and a
And
half back home again, just to do
yeah,
2 quotes. I don't know why I've done it, and I can't get myself
yeah,
out of it now. So yeah, everything now, I think, unless it's in like within 20 minutes or so, I will now quote online.
yeah.
In my quotes though, I do always say information and insurance is available upon request, which obviously I've
hmm
never ever been asked for, apart from commercial jobs and things like this.
Yeah.
But I
No,
think
I
it's
show
always
every single customer.
yeah,
Make it known because a lot of people turn up and they won't even talk about that stuff. And there are a lot of people out there that don't have insurance, and customers won't find that out until there's a problem. And a lot of the time, these people without insurance won't ever have a problem,
mm,
and they'll sail through fine. But they'll have that one job where they'll have a problem, and then it all crumbles. I think by being upfront, showing someone I am insured. Look, here we go. You can look at it if you want. It builds trust, and it's a good sales technique for me that works. Saying that when if it's a quick gutcher job, I'm obviously not there for half an hour. That's pointless. But on the bigger, worthwhile jobs, like sit down, have a good conversation, go through everything, win them, because it's worth it. When you're taking a couple of grand for a job, that half an hour quote is what wins you that time.
yeah.
If you're in and out in 10 minutes and you haven't been thorough, the customer hasn't really got an idea of who you are. They've just seen a price and gone.
I think it's something I'm
I
going to start to do. No, you said it. I think
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something that I try to look for with things like roofs, to be honest, because I feel like that's what, like you say, one thing that no one else does.
Yeah.
And for roofs, are always one that's quite competitive.
Always view a roof. I've got a. Have I got one here? No, it's in the. I've got a checklist. I do a full inspection. So if I'm pressure washing a roof, I will go up in the loft space. I say if I haven't got access to loft space, we can no longer do pressure wash. I'd have to scrape. I charge more for scraping because there's more effort, um, in the sense of physical work. Even though pressure washing is a bigger cleanup, I charge more for, and I always do it with Radiant Bristol. Dan, shout out. We work together on roofs and things. But yeah, full inspection. It's like 30 points on a checklist. Go through it with the customer. They get a copy of it. We both sign it off. All the terms and conditions are known. We go through any problematic points so they know what to expect if we have to stop halfway through and there's a leak coming in or something. It's already been like we've done the inspection. This is something we couldn't foresee.
Mm,
That wins a lot of roof quotes as well. Um, it's really important that I am covered for my information because you never want to get into a situation where the customer's angry because something's gone wrong. It's like, no, we've done all these pre-checks. They can see it's not your fault and it justifies your higher prices.
yeah,
Because if someone's just turning up and they're just looking at it going, 300 quid, and you've turned up and gone, well, that's 1200, but you've gone through and done that extra couple of steps, they're going to have more trust in you. I always bash up the inspection cam. I need to get a drone for this, but I put the inspection cam and just get an idea of like if there's cracked tiles. And I would tell a customer like before we've even done anything, we can see some cracks here. This is how we can proceed forward. And it's like really to win the job, you've got to kind of sell it to them. You're on their property and you're giving them the reasons why they should go with you. And I think a bit of paperwork you can hand to them that you've ticked off, they can put it on their kitchen side and think about. They get two more quotes and no one's gone through that effort. Who are they going to trust?
yeah,
You would hope they would trust the ones that have gone through the effort, but some people just want the cheapest price, which is completely fair enough if that suits them. But
yeah,
yeah, we don't look for the cheapest price. We look for the people that want the service. They want the high quality service.
I think that it's
Um,
definitely something I'm going to consider doing.
yeah,
Um, I'm not as on it as you are with terms of the inspection side. I kind of
mhm,
rock up, have a good chat, 20-minute chat or so with them if it's a roof. If not, it's online. But I have like 3 page document. Um, have a chat. I say if I notice anything when I go up there, because my inspection is normally when I'm actually on the job. So I'll say
yeah,
I'll set up the tower. I'll have a look. If I see anything that's wrong and I don't think we should go ahead, we'll have a chat. Kind of that kind of thing, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
Because I've never really thought about. I've gone into a loft once, but I'm not quite structurally roof knowledgeable, if you know what I mean. So
Mm.
don't know if I'd be able to see anything or notice anything that.
If you can see light, it's going to let water in. Like, it comes down to something as
Yeah,
simple as that. Like, get in there. Is there existing damage? Is there like are the rafters damp, showing that there's like water ingress and things like that?
yeah,
Pin that all off. I have it on a checkbox and things like make your customer aware. The other reason I do this is because if there's ever the event of like an insurance claim, the insurance people are going to say, "Where's your what checks have you done? What have you done?" It's like, here it is, and there's signatures between me and the client, to say that we've both agreed to this. Your insurance is going to play ball with you. If you're turning up and you've got no documents, no paperwork, no risk assessments, things like that, there is a big problem, and you've collapsed a ceiling, from water damage. Then who is liable? You.
yeah,
You haven't done enough checks. That your insurance are going to work with you if you're going to work with them, and by putting all that stuff up front and making the customer very aware, the customer's happy to go ahead at that point. Because then, if you have, like you say, you do your inspection on the day of the job, if you don't go ahead, you lost your day's work. Whereas I will pick a day to inspect where I don't have a lot on or nothing on for that day, and it's not a waste of time, because if they don't agree to it, I haven't lost a job out of it. Does that make sense?
mm,
I've kind of gone, I've spent half an hour with them, but then I don't have to cancel the job. I'm not there already set up a tower on hire or everything. It's like this day was a non-earner or a low earner anyway, so I'll just do that in the hopes that it generates a day's worth of work or a couple of days of
yeah.
work. And I think,
I wouldn't do that if I had to rent the tower.
yeah, yeah,
That's obviously,
but it's still your time.
yeah,
Um, if you put that tower up during the inspection and then made the customer aware, and it can't go ahead, then the Thursday you were going to do it can now be another job.
yeah,
You haven't lost a day's work by. It's difficult to explain because like you could argue, well, if I'm putting the tower up anyway and inspecting it, or however you're inspecting it, then and we can't go ahead, then we're losing that time. But it's like that time was always dead time.
mm,
Whereas if you've booked the job in, you're looking forward to that income coming in, then you can't go ahead. It's like, that's a demotivator.
yeah.
Like it's a bit of a kicker.
I do agree with you in terms of the drone. I do want a drone. I was going to get one, but
Yeah,
I tried to have a look at all the licenses and things and just gave up and turned the laptop off for that night. But it's something that comes. I've got a pole that I stick the GoPro
yeah,
on the end.
that's all you need.
It does work. However, the GoPro does lose Bluetooth connection to my phone
Yeah,
uh, about a meter over the gutter line, which is a bit frustrating. But
happens to me. So I'd make sure it's recording, and you
watch it
can kind of
back.
figure out your angle, and then just watch it back with the customer.
Yeah.
Go home, plug it into your computer, bring it up on big thing. Um, I do that. I actually watch the video while I'm writing out the quote, and
Mm.
kind of like, is there anything I need to pinpoint at the same time? Two screens and things like that. It's like, yeah, I try and take it as serious as possible because it is a big job, and unfortunately, people have brought the prices down,
Yeah.
for doing quick things. Like I'd never walk on a roof. I don't see the need. Always do it off a tower. Um, yes, I'm comfortable walking on a roof, but you slip, you fall, you miss the
Die.
tower, you hit the floor, break your back. Oh, I'm not working for however long, if ever. Um, I'd rather lose a job to a customer saying they don't want me to rent a tower than risk something for the sake of the risk. It's just not
Yeah.
worth it.
No, I
And the
agree.
customer will appreciate that if even if you're like at the point of turning it down, they see that you're adamant on that. That could be them testing, like, are you willing to do this any cheaper? My safety comes first. Like health and safety for me is quite a big thing. I've been on building sites watching people put their hands through saws,
Mm.
uh, And it's just from misdoing stuff. I'd hate to see what happens when someone has a chemical accident.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
scary thought, and I don't want to watch anybody fall off a roof. I don't want to fall off a roof. I don't think anyone wants to see that. Like, if it's 80 quid for your safety for the hire of a tower, then so be it.
Mm.
If the customer really doesn't want to pay that, then do they really care about your safety on the job?
No, absolutely. And
And
it's just not worth the risk, is it really? At
no,
all.
no, no, it's not.
Yeah.
What's a couple of grand over not being able to work for a year or at all?
Mm.
You know, break your back, paralyze yourself.
Right, we're at the 2 hour mark now. I've got
Yep.
one final question
It's
for
been
you.
2 hours. Oh,
Two
here we go.
hours. It's been 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Yeah.
So have you got a biggest regret in business? And it's fine to say no.
The only regret I have is not doing this sooner.
Mm.
I
It's a good
have been
regret.
saying I've been self-employed for a very long time and always subcontracting and things like that. I've always said, like, why am I doing this for someone else when I could be doing it for myself and growing? And I said that for, I think I first said that in 2015, 10 years ago. Um, and just get comfortable and you plod on. This is the first full year of Onyx being as branded Onyx, and yeah, I wish I did this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
because I'd be 10 years into my 10-year plan at that point. I enjoy working for myself. I get to control everything. If there's a problem, I get to choose how to deal with it. I don't have to answer to anybody. That freedom is great. Yeah, it comes with a lot of like stresses, but it's good stress. I'm not stressed because I'm trying to accommodate someone else's pockets and needs
Mm.
by pleasing your boss or something. It's like the stresses are there, and it is pressure, but it's like I'm in full control. I get to choose how it goes, and I regret not being in this position sooner. And
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's the proudest moment of actually saying I've finally done it. Break that
Yeah.
kind of bond, and yeah, be here.
That was my other question as well. Your proudest moment in business, but I guess it all
Oh,
comes into one.
there we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like I would say to anybody in a position where they've thought about starting a business, um, think seriously about it. Don't just like quit your job and jump into it, expecting everything to work out. Do your research, sit down, work out your finances, get people around you to support you, your wife, your kids, your family, your parents, whatever. Like, get them on board saying, I really want to make this work. Um, and get everybody around you on board to say do this, and then build into it slowly, like go part-time in your job, do evenings and weekends, do whatever it takes. But if you're thinking about it and you have what it takes to build your business and you can deal with that, taking everything on, do it, because it's the most rewarding thing you'll find.
Yeah. I do agree, and you hear it quite often as well about people saying they regret not doing it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the only thing is, as well, like you say, adding to your point, um, that is the way to do it, isn't it? Is to like not slowly, but have the idea, just be certain about it, and then slowly trying to work out a way to find that gap in time where
Yeah,
you can go, I'm still working, still earning. It's not too much of an issue. It's going to be a bit more stressful in life because I'm not going to be so free. I'm going to have a lot more work
yeah,
to do. However, I can do it on the Saturdays. I can do it in the summer after work anyway if you finish at a nice time like 3, 4 ish. Um, but yeah, we're heading into that season now. Hopefully, it's still
yeah.
getting lighter, isn't it, in the evenings?
And just to add to that, the reason I say do it slowly is because I was in a position where I had nothing. I'd had no job and I was like, I'm doing this. So I dumped a lot of my savings in, and it's been a stressful year trying to recoup it all back in things. If I had the choice, I would have probably got myself a part-time job and done it alongside.
Mm.
But I just jumped straight in. I was like, I'm going balls deep here, making an investment into the unknown kind of thing. And yeah, I don't regret doing that, but it is, looking back, the stress that I put myself at the very beginning to get to where I am now was
It's all worth it.
it was worth it, but it was kind of unnecessary at the same time because I could have made it easier for myself.
Mm.
So if you are in a position where you have nothing and you're going to do this, find yourself a part-time job, even if it's like pouring pints on an evening, and just work the days. Just keep yourself some income coming. Um, fortunately, I was in a position where I could invest and support myself without regular stuff coming in at the beginning, and it's paid off now. And don't forget, take your customers' details, note it down, upsell to them every year. Hey, do you want your gutters done again? All my guttering customers get contacted in March and October. Doesn't matter if they had it 6 months ago, they have the option. Do you want another service? If they say no, they might go, oh, but I want some pressure washing done, or I want this done, or I want that done. It's like your current customer base is not over. That you shouldn't treat them as one-offs. Treat them as, how am I going to upsell to these again in 6 months, in a year? How am I going to maintain them over the entire year? There's all sorts of ways you can sell to the same person, and again, if they're going to be loyal to you, take advantage of that. In you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, we are at 2 hours 15 minutes now.
Hey.
I feel like I might struggle rendering this out. This was the longest one. I think we start with an hour and a half, and every time it's got 15 minutes longer.
I've just been yapping for 2 hours, probably repeating myself a million times.
No, it's good to chat, and I think people find these conversations really interesting because it's also it's a timestamp almost as well, which is why I'm trying to get these guests on, like you, like Craig, like Jake, because in a year's time we'll look back and that was a genuine chat about our now issues, our now problems, and then every year we can kind of see, you know what I mean? It's not just like a general chat about, you know, it's an actual timestamp of your business.
We get to take a lot away from it, like it reinforces what we're doing, and it's a learning experience as well. I've just learned that I should look into LinkedIn, for example. I need to really, I've been sat here thinking, how am I going to make that work? Because,
I think it's also an important thing as well, because we're one-man bands and we don't have business partners and people that work with us. It's good to vent if you have a problem.
Yeah. It's like, this is our network. I mean, shout out Jake's Discord. There's all sorts of people in there, all in the same position. And it's almost like colleagues without being colleagues. We get to discuss things like price up work and discuss like various what's going on. And it's almost like that office atmosphere without being in an office. It's a weird one. Just a community, isn't it?
Yeah. So do check it out if you are interested in joining. I do say it every time we're on a pod. It is Smout on YouTube. Join his group and we are all in there and we discuss pressure washing things as well as everyday things, as well as McDonald's advertising as well, if you want to check that out. Anyway,
it's worth it if you're starting up. So
yeah, definitely. There's a ton of
experience. Like, get involved.
Yeah, there's a mix, isn't there? There's people that just started, people just joined, and then you've got the other end of the spectrum as well, where
every day there is something to learn for someone, and that's what's valuable about it. There is always something that someone can learn. It's just never ending.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Matt.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure, and like I say, we'll bump heads again soon, see how things are going, and update.
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. All right, thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Later.